fine. Like, I'm not, like, overly upset with the last 3 years. This team decidedly has been better on defense and worse on offense. And they lost more players on defense, but they spent all their picks on defense, you know? And so, like, when you look at it, and over the last 2 years, they have decidedly put all of their, or near all of their resources on defense. They spent a first-round pick on Josh Simmons last year, but second, third, in the top 3 rounds, that's the one I would count on, like, major investment. They spent 3 of their 4 picks last year on defense, and they spent all 4 of their top rounds this year on defense, including the picks that they used to trade in order to move up to take Mansour Delane. And like, I get it. We go back, we're going to find a couple years where they took some guys on offense, like they took Rasheed and Worthy.
So that gets us into the next part of the conversation. And then we'll get to the Royals, by the way, in 15 minutes or so, maybe playing a little bit better baseball, winners of 4 or 5. We'll also talk more about Emmett Johnson and what we think the running back room is going to look like. But you kind of allude to it there. Are they doing enough for Mahomes? That's always the question. That's always something you have to be cognizant of. And because of kind of what you were saying with the defensive approach, it sounds like, do you think they are doing enough for Mahomes? I think some of that conversation is always misleading nationally as well about this. It depends. Are they drafting wide receivers every year and they're turning into superstars? No, they're not. That's not happening. This idea that they're not spending resources on the offensive side of the ball, I just think is completely inaccurate. If you go position by position with who is currently on this roster, at left tackle, you just said it, Josh Simmons, they spent a first-round pick. Their left guard was a second-round pick. Their center was a second-round pick, is now the highest paid or second highest paid center in football. Their right guard was a sixth-round pick only because of medicals, and he's the highest paid guard in football. Their right tackle, while we may not like the contract, they spent significant money on Jalen Moore. Their wide receiver 1 was a second-round pick in Rashee Rice. Their wide receiver 2 was a first-rounder in Xavier Worthy. Their tight end is Travis Kelce, who they still continue to give contracts to because he's an all-pro future Hall of Famer. They just spent $15 million almost a year on a running back in Kenneth Walker. I mean, I don't know. Maybe people are mad about the results. Fair. That's a different conversation than saying, are they not doing enough for Mahomes? Are the results what they should be with Mahomes and what they have spent? No. Have they not spent and tried to help Mahomes? That's 2 different arguments. They have absolutely spent resources on the offense.
This is certainly why it's nuanced, in the sense that, like, what you're describing is certainly on the offensive line. They have made.
I listed off. I listed off every single position on offense.
They have certainly done nothing but invest on the offensive line, and at wide receiver, they've spent a first and a second. To your point. Sometime in the last, 4 years, pretty much from 2023 on. It's funny because I think the reason why it feels like they haven't done enough, and I think they've tried enough, in fairness, it hasn't resulted in enough, as you had pointed out, is they pretty much just take one guy a year. They give him one a year to try to do it. And that's why it's always felt like, are they doing enough? All the guys you mentioned, those are one a year, every year for the foreseeable, right? Like, it is legitimately... In a year, you'd mention, like, it's just so funny. You could just go back. You're like, all right, they brought in Creed Humphrey. That was 2021. And Trey Smith. Those are 2 guys in the same. And they paid him. So there's no doubt about that. And then it's like, okay, in 2023, they took 1 wide receiver in the first 5. That's the only offensive player they took the entire draft. Then the following draft, they took Kingsley and Xavier Worthy. That was the one in which they took some swings and took some real shots, both the top picks. Then it was 1 out of the first 3 rounds for Josh Simmons, 1 out of the first, in the first 5 rounds in Emmett Johnson, or I guess 2 with Cyrus Allen. So it's like 1 a year. And it doesn't mean, and this year it was none in the draft, but they paid Ken Walker. So again, the 1 that they continued to do it. But it just feels like that. It's like they take the 1 pretty high pick every year and they take their shot, that'll be the thing that solves it.
And next year,
I've never seen them committed entire, I feel like Josh, maybe the Xavier Worthy draft is as close they got. Committing an entire draft the way they do on defense to Mahomes. Yeah. That would be the only thing I would say. They've committed entire defenses to the draft a couple of times during that run. They've never just said, screw it. Let's take 2 wide receivers, a running back, and a tight end.
And they might be, this was a draft that was mainly focused on defense. There's a chance that next year we're talking about, wow, their first 4 picks were on offense, or their big free agent signing was on offense. Again, I just think if you're disappointed by it, it's more because you thought that in one offseason they could immediately be back to being a top 3 team in the AFC and a Super Bowl contender. I've just approached the offseason. Doesn't mean I'm right. I'm just saying I've approached the offseason thinking that they are 2 years away.
Sure.
Now a year away. from being back to that elite top tier roster and going into a season being one of the Super Bowl favorites. And to me, that's a 2-year plan. And they maybe found their answers on defense. We're going to find out, right? Our Thomas or our Mason Thomas or whatever, like we'll find out what he is. But like they maybe addressed that and found their answer and have both ends figured out. I don't know. Next offseason, it might be very clear that they have to do the opposite and go all in on offense again. And then all of a sudden, the 2 years come together and we're feeling great about 27. I don't know. I thought it was interesting, surprising how they did it, but I think they definitely got better, and I think the draft ultimately makes a lot of sense.
I don't want to make it seem like it's Aaron Rodgers' time in, Green Bay. But I don't know that they commit the same way they do to defense. Go ahead, Drew.
So I'm going to ask you a question, but I was looking at more stuff as well. It almost is kind of like the way the Bills have done things. Like the Bills this year had Skylar Bell drafted inside the top 4 rounds, but they did defense heavy last year. Then, they sprinkled in Ray Davis, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid over the last couple of years, but it's been pretty much defense heavy.
With every other pick, yeah.
Yeah, so I think in a way, maybe that's the better comp. So the question, it sounds like, based on what you're saying, for the way you look at the draft, Cody, is if you were to take one pick out of all of them, and say, well, if they would replace it with a wide receiver, you take Peter Wood. I think the Peter Woods pick is kind of what took them out of the wide receiver situation because edge was such a big need. They had to take our Mason Thomas, where if you don't take Peter Woods, Omar Cooper went right after him. Denzel Boston was still available. That would have been the pick to me, at least, where if they were going to take a wide receiver with their first 4 picks, and of course one of them they gave away to get Montour Delane, then that Peter Woods pick was going to be the one because defensive line help was needed, but did you need D tackle more than you potentially needed wide receiver to help out the room and for the sake of the conversation, quote unquote, give Patrick Mahomes another guy, another weapon, instead of just looking at the wide receiver room the way that it is and feeling satisfied with it?
Yeah, again, it's not, I don't think it's from like Golden and I were talking, like I don't necessarily think it's from like a total lack of effort. But it's just, I think that there's been, since 2020, I think there's been one draft in which you'd say the first 3 rounds, 4 rounds, that they said, we're going to fix the offense. We're going
to get Patrick Mahomes, our guy, like a guy.
And that was clearly 2024 when they signed Xavier Worthy, Kingsley, and Jared Wiley. Those are their top 3 picks, all offense. But other than that, it's been decidedly 75%, 80% defense in those first.
I think this conversation gets convoluted though, because it's people are making it all. And this is, again, it's a results-based business, but again, the thought process, because we don't like the results from some of the guys they have signed and drafted, we're acting like they have not done enough for Mahomes.
First round pick with Worthy.
For example, like right now, Xavier Worthy has not given you first round production, so people are acting like, well, they haven't done enough. They signed Hollywood Brown. They signed, multiple pieces. We may not like what Hollywood Brown gave them, but this idea like they didn't try to address it, I think that's where the conversation gets mixed up a little bit. Sure. It has not been good enough in terms of they have whiffed on some signings
because they haven't had a 1,000-yard guy in what, 5 since Tyreek left, probably. 1,000-yard wide receiver?
Yeah, I think because Rice was just short or whatever that one year. So, I think it's more the results
since Patrick Mahomes, like rookie season.
Since Kareem Hunt, right?
But they also spent a first-round pick on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He just never had 1,000 yards, right? Or had it the one time between rushing and receiving. So to Gold's point, it's like, it's not that they didn't try it running back at least once. It was really only the once. But it's not that they didn't try. It's that the results didn't match the rest of it. Because again, and this is just like a small thing, I don't think it counts as like I'm trying to get weapons for Mahomes or I'm trying to fix the defense or anything. It doesn't matter the thing we're talking about the team. If you take them in the 6th and 7th round, that's not trying to fix it. That's hoping it gets fixed by magic. Not by magic, but like,
well, that was
the more unlikely scenario.
Yeah, that was where I think it's more, I think it's close to the Aaron Rodgers deal because they were just drafting young wide receivers and Aaron was like, I want a veteran, please. Like, I'm begging. I know that.
But in fairness, they didn't take any in the first round. That was the whole thing with Rodgers.
Correct. I mean, and also look, Xavier Worthy is the one pick in the first round that they had. But I think from the concept of, I think we're getting, like, if they don't make it to an AFC title game this year, then I think the conversation will come up again.
I think you get a whole year.
I think it'll be like the Josh Allen, like, can this man get some help sort of situation. I know that they've tried, but I think because the Bills have also tried, but people are acting like Josh Allen has absolutely nobody on that offense to give the ball to, and he's got one of the best running backs in football, and they've tried to get help, whether it's Kincaid or Coleman. So I think that conversation from a national standpoint maybe spruces up more if they don't make it to it or if they don't win a playoff game this year.
And in fairness, if they have a mediocre, they're the 15th ranked offense this year and they're good on defense, next year's draft will be all on offense.
It would have to be, I think.
They'll be looking to replace Travis Kelce and all the other stuff. And
that's what I think they're setting things up for. I think they're trying to position themselves for not just for 2026, but for 27 through 30. Like that's what, to me, this offseason allows them perhaps to do. So we'll see it play out. And you mentioned AFC title game. Like, it's way early in the offseason. I don't need to give season predictions or anything, but like you said, it's people are going to have that conversation if they don't get to an AFC title game. I'm not expecting them to get to an AFC title game this year. Absolutely not.
Well, I'm just saying, I think the national conversation will be get Pat some help. If they don't make it to an AFC title game or if they don't win a playoff game.
Well, yeah, next offseason will be about offense. The
national narrative will be you have to get Patrick Mahomes some help.
Probably, because I think I think the offense will be better this year, but I think it'll be very clear based on Rashee Rice being a free agent, Xavier Worthy entering year 4 at that point in time, and still not have any other long-term options at receiver. I think they'll be forced to go spend money, free agent or trade, or in the draft next year on the wide receiver position. And it's also a much better 2027 draft class for offensive weapons.
The
running back draft class outside of Jeremiah Love was not great this year.
No.
Thinking of that, we're going to talk about Emmett Johnson, I know, in just a little bit and look at what he might be able to provide this running back room. All right, coming up next, guys, let's get into the Royals a little bit, playing some better baseball, winners of 4 or 5. Are people back in? What does that look like next?
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America NA, member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Over time, your home's exterior takes a beating. You might notice faded colors or peeling paint. You need to call my friends at CertaPro Painters, whether you're thinking about the inside or outside of your home. Their free estimates are detailed and easy to understand, and you'll get a quote right away. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. And remember, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale of the year is back. The tires at cost sale. That's right. You pay what we pay, plus mounting and balancing for only $30 per tire. Reserve yours at TELLEtire.com. Take care of your car. Take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation are teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize outstanding high school sports coaches through the Blue KC Coaches with Character program. From April to September, we'll recognize 6 coaches as a Blue KC Coach with Character. Each honoree will receive a VIP package that includes tickets to a Royals game and more. Be part of honoring our high school coaches whose service is making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. Just go to bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character to nominate today.
At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. If you have breast, head and neck, or brain cancer, proton therapy may be a better treatment than conventional radiation. Don't wait. Get your second opinion at Kansas City Proton Institute. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced proton therapy team. Learn more at kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Whoa. Okay, this one says you get a free phone if you switch. Hey, this one also says you get a free phone if you switch.
Yeah, they all do, hon.
Wait. The T-Mobile one says families saved over $3,700 versus the other big guys in the past 5 years. And their experience plans have Netflix included, plus a year of Dash Pass by DoorDash.
Hang on, let me see that. And a 5-year price guarantee? Oh yeah, we're switching.
That's what I'm talking about. Do we clap now, or?
I'm thinking half-half.
At T-Mobile, get savings that keep stacking up. That's value you can feel every day. Switch now at T-Mobile.
Savings based on Harris X billing snapshots from Q3 2021 to Q4 2025 among accounts with 3+ voice lines compared to AT&T and Verizon, excluding discounts, credits, and optional charges. See harrisx.com/T-Mobile. Price guarantee on talk, text, and data. Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com.
Rob Sight Ford, KC's Ford volume leader and top rated on Google. 135th and State Line. Rob Sight Ford, your 2025 Ford volume leader. Top rated on Google with 4.8 stars and 3,000 plus reviews. The best selection, best prices, and Kansas City's best customer service. Visit Rob Sight Ford at 135th and State Line. Buy right, save big, and drive home a winner. Only at Rob Sight Ford.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes are released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, we're just getting started on a Monday. Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon. We're back in studio. We'll get to some other things that occurred in Pittsburgh, including some things on Friday night after pick 40 for the Kansas City Chiefs. If you follow us on social media individually, at Cody B. Tapp, at Alex Gold, you might have seen the teaser tweet from Cody.
I said things happened.
We ended up at a bar after the draft and with Cody's cousin, who's 22. So,
did you know your cousin was going to be there?
So I know she lives in Pittsburgh, but, I hadn't reached out originally because it's like, we don't see each other a ton. We see each other like once every couple of years kind of cousin, right? She lives on the East Coast. We certainly, it's my uncle's daughter. And so, we don't see each other a ton. I know she goes to pitch. She lives in the area, but I didn't know if we'd have time. But she texted us on Friday, which happened to be the time we had the most free time. And she's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's go out. We're going to go out and get drinks. Let's go find a spot. And I let her choose the spot knowing she knows the area. And we'll talk about it in a few minutes. What we discovered was we were the oldest people there. It wasn't, I wouldn't call it a college bar.
No.
But I would certainly call it the bar that everybody goes to right after they stop going to college bars. So, if you are 22 to 27, that's the bar you go to. And so I felt old. And some other stuff happened that's worthy of discussing. So we'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah, we will.
But let's talk about the Royals, who are playing better baseball, or at least last night's come-from-behind victory certainly made you feel that way for sure. They're winners of 4 of 5. And I told you, we were texting right before Lane Thomas hit that homer because they were still on, razor's edge. Even at that moment, before he put the ball over the wall, they were down to their final out or they were going to lose that game to the Angels, which was, had they lost that one, it had felt just like the one they blew a week ago, where they did all the work to come from behind. A 6-run deficit, a rain delay. Oh, look, the Salvador Perez hit a home run and they did it. Vinny hits a triple that eventually scores. Kaggs has a pinch hit, 2-run home run against a left-handed pitcher. If they had lost that game, the vibes today would have been very bad. Even though they had won of 3 of 5, would have been really bad. But they won. So instead, we get to talk about the fact that they're 3.5 games out of the Central, which is far too early for that, because they're still 6 games below 500. But I'm not going to say, I'm not like, they're back, let's go, things are good. But do I feel better about the team today than I did a week ago? Yes, because they're winning more, and Lane Thomas and other guys are playing better. But to say they're back, that would be incredibly premature.
Yesterday was a great comeback, no doubt, and love seeing Kaggs destroy the baseball. Lane Thomas, good for him. Big offseason acquisition, has had a disappointing start to his time with the Royals, but to have that walk-off home run was awesome. And they are playing better baseball. They've won, as you said, 4 of 5. Now they go out to Sacramento to take on the A's, and I think it's a big series in regards to just the buy-in again. And if you want fans to buy in and believe that they have turned the corner, 500 or 5 games under 500, it's a different feeling than where they had been at. They're 6 under 500 now. I don't think we should be sitting here saying that the Royals are back because now they are winners of 4 of 5 and still 6 games under 500. It's more about the 500 part of it for me. And I get it. Luckily, the AL Central has not been good. And so
it's not.
They're 3.5 games back. I don't care in April, though, or May, what the divisional games back are, though. That doesn't matter. We were having a discussion.
Because we know in the end it's going to be 87, 88, 90 wins to win it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, at bare minimum, it's above 500. So, I mean, we were having a conversation with Dusty when the two shows were overlapping there at the end, and they were leaving the studio. And he made the comment about 3.5 and games back. That doesn't matter right now because ultimately we know you can't be just 3 or 4 games under 500 and make the playoffs or win the division. So it's more about I'm fully back in. What if they can have a winning series against the A's and suddenly they're 3, or I guess it'd be 4 back, 3 back, under 500, I should say. That's when I'll believe. All right, they're a team that had a month of April where they were 3 games or 4 games under 500. That can happen, and you can recover from that. So that's where I'm at. No, I do not think sitting here today that, oh my gosh, everything's fine and they're good to go now.
Now, if they sweep, that's a completely different conversation because then, of course, they would only be 4 games back. 2 games. Oh, wait, 3? 3. Sorry, 3 games back of 500. I think this is a really important have a winning road trip. And I don't say that lightly. Winning road trips are hard to come by. And the Seattle Mariners await them on the weekend series. And it's not like the A's are garbage. And so, they've got really talented young players, too. Go 4-2, and then I'll be 1 week away from buying back in. And, you're like, well, that's way too long. Well, the 2 series after that are the Guardians and the Tigers. Those are the real players in the division. Remember when the Twins started off well? Well, they've lost 9 of 10. They're back to reality. The White Sox have the same record as you. The real players in the division, the Guardians and the Tigers, they are next week, starting next Monday, with the Jack Caglione Blazing Bat giveaway, And so, happily buy back in, as in just this is a team that can compete for a playoff spot. This is a team that is good as these other teams in the division that just got off to an awful start, is May 11th. Specifically after they get through this road trip, and 4 against the Guardians and 3 against the Tigers. Because that is a real truth teller. The Mariners are a good baseball team. Now they're playing 500 baseball right now, but we know that they're a good baseball team. The Athletics are actually 2 games above 500. And then you've got the 2 teams who are both 1 game above 500 in the Guardians and the Tigers. You need to have winning baseball in those, 6, 10, 13 games. 7-6, or more importantly, probably 8-5. Because 8-5 would put you 3 games back of 500 with bad teams coming to town, or bad teams just more than worse than the teams I just mentioned. How about that? Coming to town in a weak American League. The thing they're being saved by is the Central stinks and the American League stinks. as it sits right now, it has not been a particularly dangerous, other than the New York Yankees. It has not been a particularly strong start for the American League.
I'm truly not trying to be negative. I know people maybe don't like that. I don't care about the standings or how many games back. You just referenced it again, like, you know,
3 games back at 500, being 500.
No, but sorry. I mean, you mentioned how bad the American League is, and all. Like, that's fine and that's great and everything. And yes, it's better than having the Tigers out there with the best record in baseball or something
the Dodgers
crazy.
And the Braves,
and they don't. Thank goodness, but. That doesn't matter because we've all watched enough baseball in our lives. We all know that just getting to 80 wins is not going to be good enough. So why are we sitting here acting like it matters that currently the gap between first place and last place in the AL Central or in the American League, it's such a small margin? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't because we know there's just a benchmark you have to get to. So, yes, forgive me for not being excited that they're only 3.5 back in the division while being 6 games under 500.
Yeah.
Let me know when they are 3 games under 500 and we can start to have a conversation again, because even that still is not anywhere near where they need to be.
That's what I just said. Yeah, I'm not anywhere close to buying back in until at the earliest, and I do mean the earliest, May 11th. 4 series, all against winning or near winning teams, 2 of which are in the division and 2 of which are tough road series. Like, that is a more than fair, I'm glad you swept the Angels. And look, that's not a bad thing. You have to do that too.
For sure.
In order to get back to relevance.
Time.
And they dug a deep hole. It was a deep hole. It is going to take a long time to drag themselves out of it. And look, even if they swept the Mariners, we'd be talking about the end April, 3 games under 500. That is recoverable. That is doable.
Absolutely.
But they're probably not going to sweep the Mariners. They got to worry about trying to win that series, not about trying to get 3 straight against Seattle. It's going to take them a long time to do it. Look, 3.5 games out, August 15th, is a lot different than 3.5 games out, obviously, on April 27th. There's a significant... Now, I don't want to say this because, that game was awesome last night. Cags hit the walk. I don't want to diminish it I enjoyed the baseball game last night. But, yeah, I'm with you in the sense that buying in now would be crazy. That game last night was awesome. And Cags getting a pinch hit home run and Lane Thomas finally coming through, all that stuff was great.
The most promising thing, other than just Cags individually, though, is that it looks like we were just saying a week ago, they didn't look like they were enjoying themselves. They looked like they were a flat team with no energy. That they have. A winning, of course, is going to provide that energy. But we have seen that. That's a great sign. Also, Cole Reagan's looking like Cole Reagan's was a great
awesome.
sign. Those are the things that are more impactful and sustainable, hopefully, moving forward.
Well,
but I'm not going to play the standings game right now.
It's weird. It's weird that they've been winning a lot more games. And you're like, well, then who's playing well? So Carter Jensen and Jack Caglianone are playing better. Cole Reagan's looked like Cole Reagan's, like you mentioned. What's weird is they got a sweep in a game in which Vinny and Michael Garcia weren't in a lineup together.
Yeah.
Michael Garcia missed the entire series because of the injury.
Yeah, he pinch hit late last night, and that was it.
And walked, by the way. An important pinch hit. One that ended up helping factor in the deciding part of the game. But he missed the entire series. Vinny was out of the lineup against the lefty, and they started Starling Marte and Lane Thomas and Isaac Collins. They had a bizarro lineup. They had we just clinched the division, hooray for us, we're going to the playoffs lineup on Saturday, and still got the win against the Angels. And then had to come from behind yesterday. I don't want to diminish that. This goes back to that game they lost a week ago when Salvador Perez hit the home run and then they lost. And my frustration over that loss was that was the kind of win that can propel you into winning, that can drive you towards it. That's what I like about that game yesterday. That is the kind, now you still have to do it, but that game yesterday is the kind of win, Gold, that can propel you into winning. You were down 6 runs. You were in the middle of a rain delay. It was a mess. You fell short a couple of times. You had 2 on, nobody out, only got 1 run. And then you're down to your last out. You're down to your last strike. It's looking bleak. And Jack Caglianone steps to the dish and puts a 2-run shot. You're down to your last out again. And then Lane Thomas puts a ball over the fence, That's the kind of game that can give you the kind of confidence to keep winning versus the one that you let go a week ago. So I hope we're just right at the precipice of it is my hope. Definitely my hope. Do you want to talk about running backs or do you want to talk about our time in Pittsburgh first?
It doesn't really matter.
Let's talk about Pittsburgh.
Doesn't matter to me.
So we've discussed everything that's taken place on this trip up to this point. Drew, as you know, we talked about Lou's little corner bar.
Yeah.
And so now Thursday was a very long work day. No time for any kind of shenanigans or fun. Alex and I were working. We left at 8:30 in the morning. We got home at 1 for work. So Friday night, when the Chiefs finally pick 40, and we know that they don't have the other pick now because they've traded it away in order to move up to Mansour Delane, we're like, all right, that's a wrap. There's not nearly as much media here. Anybody they could draft, we can't talk to. We can continue to get content other places, but, no more draft stuff, no more hanging out at the Steelers Stadium for the rest of time. So, as I told you, we met my cousin down at a bar, which is like a barbecue place. Like you said, it was like outdoor. It was slammed. It was incredibly busy. I think there's two moments that stand out to me in this, and I'm curious if Alex feels the same. One is obviously what happened to you with, I guess just the entire situation. One, we got sat with, we were sitting at a table waiting for my cousin, who was incredibly late. Three people eventually were like, can we just sit here with you? We're like, sure. It was 3 women in their early 20s. They looked 11 in my brain because I'm 41 years old. They looked like children. I was like, oh, so young. And the funniest part of it was
they could have been your kids.
They were very nice. They hung out.
They weren't that.
They were nice.
Could have been his kids. That's
a stretch. I would have been
I'm just saying.
Teen dad, I guess.
That's a bit much. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, weren't that young, But they were perfectly nice. They were chatting for a little bit. The very funny part of the interaction to me at the beginning of that one was, they sat down. They're like, "Yeah, that's fine. We're waiting on our cousin. We don't know how long it's going to be." And then I was turning to Alex to continue the conversation, not knowing if they were just going to be engaged with the 3 of them, or if because we're near a table with each other, there'd be conversation. And they were like, "Are you guys from here?" Alex says, "No, we're not from here." And the second thing he said after, "No, we're not from here. We're in town for the draft," is he's married. He has a wife and children. It was almost that exact sentence. And I was like,
"Dang!"
I was like, "All right."
That was not. Okay. That wasn't how quickly it happened.
It was pretty quick.
Well, it was pretty quick in the conversation because the conversation came up and said, "Yeah, we feel old," is what we said.
Yeah.
I go, "We feel old." I go, "He's married with kids." Yeah,
but
that's a different context.
And so we're all hanging out. They're perfectly nice. They're like, "What do you guys do?" We do sports radio. Alex handed them an unlocked phone to look at his social media.
Missing so many details.
Which was what? What am I missing?
We're just skipping.
Hold on.
The more interesting interaction I thought was later.
Cody can finish, and then Gold can give the
the more interesting interaction is later. It doesn't matter, but Cody's making it sound like the craziest of all craziest things. That is, if they sat down, I immediately said, "He's married. Here's my phone." That's not what happened. But anyway,
that was after a number of conversations. The phone.
Go ahead.
Your version is entertaining just because it's getting the gears turning.
Go ahead.
No, so we were hanging out for a little bit. They said they didn't believe that Alex had met Travis Kelce. He proved it via a photo, and then they looked up the show photo, and then they eventually asked to look at your. Did they ask to look at your social media?
Yes.
Or is that just the app they got on?
I go, "Here you go," and I showed them, and then they grabbed the phone.
Yeah, I thought scary. Now, in fairness, they didn't get in any trouble there, right? They just scrolled through your social media, made sure that everything was okay. Then I don't know. Later they left. I think after my cousin and her friend had showed up, they eventually went on to either a different bar or a different part of the bar. Did you see if they left? I don't know where they went. But they eventually took off, and we were all just hanging out, just the 4.
Cody's cousin sat down, and they left immediately.
Yeah. It was pretty quick after that. And so then the 4 of us were just hanging out, normal stuff. Drinking, they're 23, so they wanted to play drinking games at the table, which is insane to me. I did it, but also I'm 41, so can't really play drinking games anymore.
I mean, you can, but
the best, a girl approaches Alex from across the bar by herself, which is a bold move, admittedly. She goes all the way across the bar, and "Are you single?" So, "Are you single?" To the answer, Alex is, "Yes, I'm single." The second question, "Are you from Pittsburgh?" The answer to that was no. And what was her exact response after that?
I mean, it was a very quick interaction.
It was just those 2 lines.
She just randomly sat down next to me and said, "Hi, I'm Vanessa." I go, "Oh, hey, my name's Alex." She goes, "Are you single?" I go, "Yes." And she goes, "Are you from here?" I go, "No, we're here for work." She goes, "Oh, it's great to meet you." And she walks away. And that was it.
Okay.
Honestly,
that was it.
So she was interested in Alex, but only if he was from Pittsburgh.
That was it. Just what?
That was a wild interaction.
Should I have lied?
She was there for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
She was there for 5 seconds.
She went back to her friend group, and then they all left. That was their night.
Why the boldness of the interaction only to leave immediately was the part for me. Because this goes back to my initial comment on Friday, which I called Alex a Pittsburgh 8.5. After that interaction, I said Pittsburgh 9. He's got women just coming up to him at the bar saying, "Are you single?" You don't see that kind of move very often.
I do think
it's a power play.
Yeah.
But then immediately ejected from it because you weren't from Pittsburgh.
If I would have said I was from there, I don't know.
I'm sure the conversation would have lasted more than 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think she would have,
Dusty's right. I should have said, yeah, I'm from Pittsburgh. And then I could have said Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Just
You're not from Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Pittsburgh with no H.
Yeah. Well done, Dusty. I should have said that.
I am from Pittsburgh.
I just couldn't believe
I live near Pittsburgh. I'm not from here, but I live near Pittsburgh.
It was just weird. She came all the
Just
way
leave
from
out
over
the
the
detail.
bar. She sat next to Alex. I was like, oh, what do we have cooking here? Because immediately I'm, of course, interested in whatever this situation is.
Yeah, she was very attractive. Her name was Vanessa.
Yeah.
I do remember the name, but yeah.
She was attractive. Her name was, and then it was just that. She left so fast. I was like, what happened? Because your initial reaction is like, what the hell could you have said that would have ended the interaction that fast? And it was just, are you from here? No.
I'll be honest, it's been a bit since some woman just randomly came up to me at a bar completely out of nowhere without even making eye contact or anything. So that was bizarre. It's Pittsburgh.
It was very
shout out to
funny.
Pittsburgh, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Pittsburgh. That was also, in all the time Alex and I hung out, I think that's the most drunk I've seen Alex. He's seen me more drunk than he was. So let me put it in context.
We had a good night Friday.
Alex has seen me, I think, more drunk than Alex was. But
You
that's the most drunk I've seen Alex.
You could tell that Gold had a good buzz, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in fairness, we were drinking for an hour before my cousin even showed up. And then it was like, well, we'll just keep drinking now. And we didn't have anywhere else to be, and the flight was late. There was no reason not to, I guess, have a good time.
Yeah, the bar tab was a little high.
Yeah.
It was not. That's how I know we weren't at a college bar, because it was not cheap.
Yeah, if it was a college bar, your bar tab had been half of that.
Yeah.
Third,
Someone
quarter.
says they don't believe that girl came up to me because she was interested. They think she was gauging for one of her friends in her friend group.
That is very much a possibility. That is very much a possibility.
I don't know, man. I don't.
No, Cody.
It's possible.
No, I think that actually might be the more likely scenario.
You think?
Yes. Girl was embarrassed from the friend group, so somebody else
She's
came
like,
up.
do you think that guy's single? She's like, I'll go ask him.
Yes.
But why the
that
second
actually
question?
It's a good theory.
Would her second friend also want to know that he's from Pittsburgh? Is that specifically related to draft weekend and there's so many people from out of town?
I mean, if she's interested,
we weren't in the downtown area. This was far away from the draft. You should probably more safely assume
I was
Alex
wearing
is
a polo
from-
that had had the letters KC on it, for crying out loud.
That's true.
I had a Royals polo on.
That should have been a giveaway, I suppose.
It said KC.
Maybe from a distance they couldn't tell.
Yeah, but I don't know, man.
Evidently, that person wasn't paying attention to the polo, I guess.
It was a 60-second interaction. I mean, it was quick.
Sat down. She was sitting, and as quick as she was gone, I was like, "What the hell happened here?" Alex just be like, "Not interested. Thanks for stopping by." It wasn't that.
Thanks for stopping by.
I don't know. It was an interesting night.
It was
the way it started, and then that. I don't know. I don't know what to really make of that. Quite honestly, I'll take it as a compliment.
Right? It's undoubtedly a
and
compliment.
move forward, I guess.
Whether it was her or for a friend, it was a compliment. I didn't see the rest of her group. How many people was she with? You said they had
like 4 or 5.
Okay. All women?
Yeah.
Or like a mix? Okay.
I think it was all women. Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Cody, we've talked about it too much. From the 816, great sports talk, guys. Talk sports guy, not happy.
Good news. We'll talk more Chiefs on the other
It's
side
gonna
of the
be
break.
okay. We got 4 hours.
You can also go to the podcast page as well after the show and get all the sports content you want
I
to.
can promise you it's going to be all right to talk about stuff that everybody can
You don't
relate
wanna
to for
you don't
like
wanna know
5
what's going
minutes.
on
It's going to
in
be
our
okay.
lives?
It's going to be okay, I promise. That is.
You don't see that often.
That's a good text. Thank
That
you.
is.
From the 914. I don't know what area code that is.
The what?
914, it says. Maybe it's from Pittsburgh.
I don't think that's Pittsburgh. That's New York.
Oh.
Westchester County.
Someone said, did
thanks for
96.5
listening.
fan get some new followers in Pittsburgh? I don't know. Seems unlikely.
I don't know. All I know is the group.
I hope that either
the
of those
group,
groups,
I
the
will
first
say,
group that was there
the first group
or
did
her.
say, the first group, which was super weird, as they got up and left, they said, "It was nice to meet you, Cody and Gold." That's what they said as they walked away. So I don't know.
All right.
Okay. Anyway. Thank you for bringing that up, Cody. I appreciate that.
Good times, man.
Up next, we get back into sports. Crying out loud.
All sports.
It's about time. We're going to talk about who's left out there on the free agent list and who the Chiefs should target. Plus, the Chiefs have a new quarterback in the building.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Hello?
Hey sis, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsberg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great. I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% to your home comfort. Trust the local experts at Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new HVAC system with our trade-in allowance program. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee, means you get safe, reliable service and peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circa Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circa Sports has it all. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circa Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more. Getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Future therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
The sun's out, the bags are packed, and the spring getaway is finally here. Start your vacation on a high note at Park & Go. Don't let your car bake in the sun while you're away. Every single spot is covered, keeping your car cool and protected from the elements while you're gone. Just park and relax. Park & Go's free shuttle meets you right at your trunk, helps with the bags, and whisks you to the terminal. No long walks, no hidden fees, just great service and family-owned care 24/7. Reserve today at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, the best way to start your getaway.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor,
State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Furnished by IntelliBrands. Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. Get an Ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact. Improve your flexibility and balance. Strengthen and tone your legs.
My joints feel better, my knees feel better, my back feels better, and it makes me feel stronger too.
My circulation is moving. I'm burning calories, and it makes me feel energetic.
It's so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Call now and order Ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. And for a limited time, get a free upgrade to our deluxe bundle with a faster motor, sport mat, and wireless remote. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of Blue. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, 11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. We'll get to the trash of the day in 20 minutes. Also, a reminder, coming up later on in the show, 1 o'clock hour, a full hour of Jay Binkley. He's going to join us in studio, part of the Character Concerns crew. Will be good to catch up with him. He, of course, was very busy on Thursday night, and they had a draft special show on Saturday, and I believe they have one again this evening right here on 96.5.
He's fired up. I'm already getting text messages from Bink. I don't know if you guys are.
No,
I haven't got locked and loaded.
I have not got a text from Bink yet today, but he knows he's got a full hour with us. Talk all things draft. We'll talk about Pittsburgh with him.
Born in the wrong generation. He was born in the wrong city. A football-crazed town. Like, Binkley would have fit in Pittsburgh perfectly.
Is this Jay Binkley?
Should have been a Pittsburgh resident.
I swear I saw him a bunch. He may have been in Kansas City at the Brooksider for you guys on Thursday night, but I'm just telling you, he was walking around. He was walking around the draft. There's no doubt about it. I sent the one photo out. We'll ask him about it coming up at 1 o'clock. We'll also ask him about this discussion, which is around free agents that are still out there. Now that we know who the Chiefs did or didn't draft and the positions they did or didn't draft, I think a couple free agent targets are very obvious at this point. It doesn't mean they will sign them. But for starters, even though they drafted a defensive end in round number 2, who I think is really intriguing because of the athleticism, is not the normal Spags type for some of the measurements and measurables, but I'm very intrigued by our Mason Thomas. Defensive end has to still be, I think, a target before training camp. And we know the two biggest names out there. I don't know if they will sign them or not, but Cam Jordan, Calais Campbell. I told you I would prefer Cam Jordan over Campbell because of the age thing. But those are two guys. Could you imagine if you were able to go into the season, and I tell you that their defensive line is Karlaftis, interior is Tonga, Woods, Jones, or Mason Thomas with a vet in Cam Jordan. I'm feeling, and then Delane to go with the rest of the secondary. Yeah. I'm feeling pretty good about the defense at that point, thinking that they are going to be one of the better defenses in football if you told me they did that. If they don't sign another vet, I still will have major questions how they're getting after the quarterback, because while I like the pick out of Oklahoma, it's still a rookie and it's complete unproven. And I don't know if they have somebody that you can go into the season that you're feeling great about getting after the quarterback.
It just requires Gelati to take a nice step forward in year 2, Omar Norman Lott to take a nice step forward in year 2, or the guy you just mentioned, R. Mason Thomas, to be good right away. Now, in fairness, at pick 40, you can be an instant contributor. Gelati should be a contributor. Omar Norman Lott should be a contributor, which it sounds like to me it's going to be by proxy, the other defensive end situation. Karlaftis is going to be the guy. They're going to split time between Peter Woods, Tonga, and Chris Jones in the middle. That's a force. And then they're just going to rotate bodies on the other end until one guy steps forward, whether that be R. Mason Thomas, Gelati, or Omar Norman Lott. Believe it or not, before that, wide receivers on my list. And I wouldn't mind a free agent defensive end. I'm not even saying
the obvious
no
wide receiver. I mean, we know the obvious one.
Tyreek. I'd still argue Brandon Ayuk. What the hell is their plan there? They're just going to keep him there forever?
June 1,
like,
right?
To me, yeah, June 1, he'll be a post-June 1 cut. They keep trying to, I've never seen a team more openly beg for somebody to give them literally anything for Brandon Ayuk. They would take a 2028 7th at this point. Like, they would take anything if you would even eat a portion of the money in order to bring him in. But I could be talked into Bink's guy from last year, Keenan Allen. What they need is a proven veteran wide receiver who can get open in difficult moments. To me, that is Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill. I don't like the person maybe, but Stephon Diggs. It is that type of wide receiver. The problem is that I'm torn between wanting that type of wide receiver Gold, but not wanting somebody who takes too many targets. So, and somehow I end up back with Juju Smith-Schuster if I do that. How do I get a guy who knows how to get open occasionally but isn't a target monster? Is that how I end up signing Juju? Is that but just some wide receiver, some veteran wide receiver. The guy's all I just mentioned. That's why I like Ayuk, because there's no guarantee of targets for him. No guarantee of targets for
Brandon
Keenan
Cooks,
Allen.
too. Is Brandon Cooks still a free agent?
That's a good question.
On Warren Sharp's website, it looks like he is. I don't know if that's
That'd be
still a thing.
that'd be fine. Just somebody that I don't have to guarantee
Cooks or Curtis Samuel.
Like, it's why, you
Sterling
might think
Shepard.
that my number one choice would be at wide receiver would be like Jawan Jennings. Nah, not for price and not for what I want. Because in the end, the Chiefs' long-term success plan still includes using Rashee Rice and using Xavier Worthy. I just need another reliable veteran wide receiver just in case Worthy doesn't get better. Just in case Rice misses time for the third straight season. That's what I need.
What's it? There's definitely names still at the. Again, I don't think wide receiver in terms of signing one is much still as a priority as I would still feel about getting after the quarterback. So, the opposite, George Karlaftis, and yes, they drafted R. Mason Thomas, but it would be, I think, really beneficial to this defense if you're going to continue to go all in on defense to have a veteran that can get after the quarterback. And so Cam Jordan, Calais Campbell, heck, Joey Bosa is still out there, right? He's still out there. He's 31. He had 5 fumbles and 5 sacks last year for the Buffalo Bills. Those are some names that are interesting, I think. Hell, Jadeveon Clowney.
What about
That's another one?
Like, we've mentioned the two obvious ones, and I think if we just open this up to the text line, they'd mention a bunch of wide receivers and a bunch of defensive ends. I was admittedly surprised they did not draft a safety. Do they need to look in those waters?
I thought they did draft a safety.
Yeah, the kid out of Oregon's a safety.
Oh, that's right.
Now they can move him around. I actually think safety's fine.
You sure?
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't only start a 4th-round safety, I guess, just right out of the gate.
They spent free agent money on Gilman. They drafted
He
a
would
safety.
have to be the guy.
Yeah, I think safety's done.
But they didn't show a lot of confidence in Jaden Hicks at the end. All I'm saying is I could be talked into a veteran safety the same as I could be talked into the others. I know I don't want to keep Hicks and maybe the drafted guy off the field, but
Bink's guy's still out there.
It is not a veteran group.
Bink's guy's still out there
Who's
at
that?
wide receiver.
Oh, Keenan Allen?
Yeah, he's still out there. To be
Some of the
34
safeties,
years old,
Cody,
guys.
Jabril Peppers, Xavier Woods, Justin Simmons, Quandre Diggs.
A couple of guys.
Taylor Rapp.
There's a couple of guys
Jordan
at least on
Poyer.
the list. But it's just like, it's not a position that has any veteran depth, and they typically, last year was a diversion from the normal plan. Normally, they like veteran safeties. This year, they took, Canada? Is that how he pronounces it?
Coeur d'Alene in particular, but with
that one burned us.
The draft pronunciation guide Thursday night said Mansour Delane, and of course, we've now figured out it's Mansour. Anyway.
But it's you don't want Mike Edwards back, Cody?
I mean, in a year like this, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, again, they went after Tyrann Mathieu. They went after Justin Reed. Last year was the first year their safety plan was just the guys who are still on rookie contracts. And it didn't. And where did they struggle the most on defense? Other than pass rush. Coverage on 3rd and long. The safety stunk. They got burned a ton. And so their plan is to what? Get even younger? Because Brian Cook was at least in year 4. They got even younger at safety. Gilman adds to the mix a little, but like, that doesn't seem like a veteran at the level that they signed Justin Reed or signed Tyrann Mathieu. Not that it's a nothing contract. I guess it just doesn't feel like it's at the same level.
But they also just spent their highest pick since Eric Berry on a secondary piece in Delane. I mean,
they needed that just to replace McDuffie.
I understand. I'm just saying, like, this goes. I don't want to keep repeating the whole roster conversation again. This is not going to be a season where we go into training camp and feel like every single position is set and perfect and there's no questions. That's not where this roster is at. So maybe for you it is safety. I think there's other positions, but This is not a perfect roster.
It's just one I would mention. That's all. They could still fill out the rest of the roster with free agency.
Yeah.
And I think safety is one of the ones I'd consider.
There's going to be some more vets that get signed.
Yeah.
Fast forward a couple weeks from now, closer to training camp. What did you tell me earlier today? We're not 80 days away from training camp or something like that?
Let the countdown
90,
begin.
pretty much, right? I mean,
90, yeah, let the countdown.
Between 80 and 90?
So we're
I love
we're 3
training
months away or whatever, and they will sign some form of veteran. I don't know if it's going to be a big name, Cam Jordan, if it'll be a much smaller level signing, but I do think defensive end, Cody, you think safety, wide receiver, the obvious is Tyreek Hill or somebody at some point in time.
It sounds like, Cody, you like training camp so much, you should start to post the 80 days until training camp.
No, you got to do it with the jersey.
79 days.
It's got to say Travis Kelce days. You can't say 87. You say
You're right.
Travis
Actually, you're
Kelce
right.
days away until the open of training camp. The dates aren't open, though, yet. We don't actually know the dates.
We got a rough idea.
I'm basing it off of
July
previous
23rd.
years.
Yeah, July 23rd, roughly.
Yeah.
We
We don't know
driving
the
up there.
We don't know the actual dates yet. We're just taking a guess.
I'm still trying to get Drew up there. Still trying to get Drew to St. Joe.
We got to get him to St. Joe at least once.
And you can wear the shirt that we did not buy you from Pittsburgh as we walked by from a street vendor, which said, "Bitch, I'm a Bengal."
Also tough, Drew.
How would that go? How would that go?
the universal draft consensus is that Cincinnati had the worst draft. Like if you made, people hate Cincinnati's draft. Largely,
I haven't paid any attention to Cincinnati. All I know is they drafted a local kid that did not get drafted by the Chiefs.
He said he's glad to be a Bengal and not a Kansas City Chief.
Well,
I'm ready for that stuff, baby.
I mean, he should be saying that. He got drafted by Cincinnati.
I am ready for that matchup, even more so now.
Texted us about him, by the way. That guy has shorter arms than Ruben Bain, is what Bink told me.
He also texted me that R. Mason Thomas has short arms. He has like 31-inch arms. Like they're not particularly longer arms either.
Yeah.
It'll be okay, Bink. It'll be all right.
Before we move on to the quarterback and Garrett Nussmeier that they drafted around 7, I will say we discussed it on Thursday briefly about the clear smokescreen around offensive tackle in the first round, and Brett Veach acknowledged that. Guys, they didn't even draft a single offensive tackle after all that. Not a single one.
I know.
And I think, did they sign one undrafted offensive lineman? Maybe they did. Maybe an undrafted free agent. Point being is, I mean,
smoke screen
it was such a problem for them, guys, and they didn't even draft a single one. I'm glad, by the way, they didn't draft a single offensive tackle. They needed to take advantage of a year in which they did not have to spend resources on offensive line. And they did. I'm thrilled. That's like one of my favorite things about the draft week.
Yeah.
Is they did not spend more money in draft capital at a position that they have spent so much at. It doesn't mean that I think Jalen Moore is amazing, but they can get by for a year with Jalen Moore and then revisit that position in the offseason.
So your swing tackle is Wanye then, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, or it's Esapole, but yes,
that would be the one thing that worries me.
Okay.
A little bit because
I'd be worried about injury. They don't have any depth at offensive tackle, but a few teams do.
Which is why you take one like in the 4th round or the 5th round where it's like, just in case, because we know what happens. We know what happened when we had to go to the depth in the offensive line.
It might just be the free agent
good.
play, You just find the guy who's played it at least a little bit
just for 1 year, 1 year flyer. Hey, come and help us out.
Exactly. I still think in order to afford some of the free agent Gold's talking about, like if they wanted to bring in Cam Jordan, they might have to extend Jalen Moore. He might still be a starter for more than 1 year.
Move some money around or whatever.
That's a whole other part of this thing that we're talking about. The biggest surprise, maybe the entire draft, other than trading up to 6 for Mansour Delane, was the Chiefs taking a quarterback. Now, admittedly, I'm assuming Scott Parks over from Dana Park's going to make fun of me. He asked me to come on a show on Friday.
Okay.
And he said, hey, and I still disagree with the logic of it entirely. But he said, hey, Cody, you can tell me if this is a bad question. I just want to know, Patrick Mahomes coming off the injury. He's getting older. This is the way he said it. Do the Chiefs take a quarterback in this draft? And my exact response was, that's the dumbest thing you've ever asked me. That's a stupid question, is what I said. And then they took Garrett Nussmeier. I think that this is very simple. This has no downside. There are 3 possible winning scenarios and no losing ones. They took a 7th-round quarterback. The losing scenario is he doesn't make the team, which a lot of 7th-rounders don't. So I don't care. He's never unseating Patrick Mahomes. So the winning scenarios are obvious. He either is a long-term backup, so you have to stop spending 5th and 6th-round picks to bring in Gardner Minshew or Justin Fields and paying him $10, $12, $14 million a year, and you have a long-term stable backup for 4 seasons in Kansas City. That's the upside. Or even greater upside, which is you somehow Matt Flynn this thing, and he looks awesome in a couple of preseason games, or if Mahomes misses a game, and he looks awesome, and all of a sudden there's a team willing to give you actual draft pick compensation for the guy. There's no downside, in my opinion. It's an easy move.
Yeah, was I surprised they drafted a quarterback?
Yeah,
sure, but yeah, it's nobody should be upset about it. What's you laid out the scenario there of what it could be. He also, because of Mahomes' injury, is going to get way more reps than typically a third string, because that's what he's probably going to be if he makes the team, right? A third string quarterback would typically get, and because Mahomes is coming off the injury, I do think more and more teams are keeping 3 quarterbacks on the active roster to begin with. So, it sure looks like Oladokin and Jake Haener, I guess, is the other quarterback that's going to be up at training camp. That those guys probably not going to win the job. Garrett Nussmeier has the inside track on the number 3 quarterback job, I guess. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's something different. And we went back to a way early mock draft from a year ago at this time. Okay, and this is why mock drafts, we have fun with them because they're hard to do. I get it, but it doesn't mean that they're accurate, even if they're from guys like Todd McShay or Mel Kiper. So last year, the Chiefs quarterback that just got drafted in the 7th round, Garrett Nussmeier, today, like a year ago today, Todd McShay had number 1 in his mock draft, Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU. That's how much
Who did he
fell.
have 2? Just not Mendoza.
Caleb Downs.
Okay.
So still a top player, but not 2. Peter Woods, by the way, who the Chiefs drafted, he had to go number 3 overall. So it's way far out, but just that's your upside angle, right, to Nussmeier. That a year ago, people thought he legitimately was going to be the first quarterback or the number 1 overall pick. He had a terrible final year there. Unfortunately, got injured. There were some reports that he had like a cyst on his spine. So
yeah, he was playing
wasn't great. So good luck to him. I think it's great that he's going to get some reps this offseason because Mahomes won't be taking as many reps.
The Gumbo Gunslinger.
That's right.
Oh, that's a great nickname.
The Gumbo Gunslinger.
Look, I would caution people against, and Kansas City should know this as good as anybody. I would caution people against, he was going to be the number 1 overall pick. No, he wasn't. He never was. That was a guess based off of a hypothetical season the player never had. And I say that as someone who covered training camps and covered practices in which I had Chiefs fans for probably the better part of 6 months tell me how Aaron Murray was going to be the number 1 overall pick until he tore his ACL. And I said, no, he wasn't, because I've watched players get hurt right before the draft, and they'll still take you. Like if Trevor, the science behind that at quarterback doesn't do it. He's
a number 3 quarterback for this team.
I hope. I think
if he makes it.
It is a genuine dream scenario for me if he ends up being a 3-year backup for this team. The Justin Fields is here for a year, and now they get the world's cheapest backup quarterback as imaginable. It's a 7th round quarterback for 3 years. Perfect. The worst thing that ever happened to Chris Oladokin is he got on a football field because they realized how bad that guy stunk. And they had to do something else at third quarterback. That's essentially what Nussmeier is. He's that replacement.
Yeah, it usually works that way. You're either a backup for a very long time, you don't play, and it's good, but the minute you play and they realize you're not capable of being a quarterback in this league, then you're done. And so, unfortunately, that is what happened. I think Justin Fields, like someone texted in 913-586-7965, said, I can see Garrett winning the number 2 job. No chance.
No.
They gave up draft
Zero.
capital to get Fields. Andy Reid likes experience behind his starting quarterback, and this year more than ever, it's possible. It's important because it's possible Fields might have to start week 1 if Mahomes is not ready. No. Now, a year from now, if Nussmeier makes the team this year and progresses, yes, one day he could be the number 2 quarterback, but he's got no chance.
He's the third string this year
if he makes the team.
It's funny that Brett Veach being so insistent and being so right on Patrick Mahomes does make me think that he only has a history of 1. But the one time he went to go identify a quarterback is pretty good at it. Now, I'm not saying he thinks Nussmeier's a star, but if he's like, we don't even need a quarterback and I'll spend a 7th on this guy, there's enough talent there for me to be, because normally you'd say Chiefs don't ever need to be spending draft pick compensation on a quarterback until Patrick Mahomes is at least 40. And I know it's a 7th, but they have found starters in Jalen Watson, Isaiah Pacheco. They found more starters in the 7th round than any team in the NFL. They found 4 or 5 guys that contribute in that round. So it's not like a throwaway for them. So he's saying, they're saying he's got enough talent to be a backup quarterback, I think the Brett Veach is probably right on that.
I mean, yeah, I think if you were to just go off of 2024 numbers, are you taking Garrett Nussmeier higher than Carson Beck? Yes, 100%. But he was hurt. Carson Beck also helped take Miami to the national title. How much a year can change things with college football is obviously
Yeah, I mean, keep that in mind when I know at some point I'm sure Drew will have a way too early mock draft for us just for fun.
I was going to do one today. I didn't know if you wanted to dive into that
maybe,
already or
maybe at the end of the red half hour or something.
Okay.
And just keep it in mind a year ago, we did the Tom McShay one, and Garrett Nussmeier would have been the number 1 pick in the draft. So
yeah, just like how Arch is probably the guy that
he is the betting favorite right now.
Yeah,
Crazy. Him and Dante Moore 1-2.
Why isn't it Moore 1?
Because
like
his last name is
one.
Manning.
But he was going to go 2 overall this year.
Because they think Arch Manning will improve enough and people will talk themselves into the family history, I guess.
He was a lot better towards the end of the year.
Is Jeremiah Smith going to be available in the Chiefs pick at 32?
No.
Or no?
I did see
he's going to go like third.
I did see 2 mocks that had him going to the Raiders both times.
Oh, boo.
Which would be Fernando with Jeremiah Smith. Woo! Be a Mansour Delane versus Jeremiah Smith. That would
They're
be
not
going to
be bad enough. Raiders can't be bad. The Raiders cannot be bad enough. The top 3 teams next year will be the Dolphins, Cardinals, and Jets. I don't know if it's that order, but I'm telling you right now, that's the top 3 picks in next year's draft. I'd be stunned if it's not.
Yeah.
Like, in a lot of ways. They're starting Jacoby Brissett. Who the hell is starting for Miami?
Malik Willis.
Okay, Malik Willis.
If Malik Willis is that guy, though, then they might be...
Fernando Mendoza has a way better chance of being that guy than any of the 3 guys we just mentioned.
Oh, no,
Cleveland's got a
totally
chance
agree.
to be top 3. I take it back. One of those 4 will be picking top 3.
We don't know who their quarterback is. I actually like Cleveland's draft. I really do.
Cleveland had maybe the best draft.
They've taken 3 quarterbacks in the last 2 years.
I like how to draft well.
Like Cleveland's draft, but is it going to be Deshaun Watson starting week 1? There's a real chance it is. A real chance. If not, it's Sanders again. That's their issue.
You can give us a too early mock in the Chiefs red hour, like you said.
All right.
Let's get to the trash.
Trash of the day.
So there's a simulated Red Planet, as in Mars, mission going on right now over in Europe. Have you guys been keeping an eye on this?
No,
Cody, you're the space guy.
I usually like the space stuff on the show, but I have not been paying attention to this.
Solus 100, I think, is what it's called. It's a trial. No sex, no alcohol, no daylight, no fruit or vegetables, no eye contact for 100 days.
So just to make sure you can make it to Mars?
Sounds like prison, but here's what they're doing. So on Thursday, 6 participants entered a sealed simulated space station in Germany. They will not be allowed out until August.
Okay.
So they're trying to find out what happens to a small team of humans who spend months isolated in this confined environment without friends, family, cut off from the outside world.
Do they go through like stress test stuff, like performing?
So conditions are highly controlled, a packed daily schedule. It says of science experiments to test whether mental health, cognitive agility of the crew are affected. And so they're aged between 26 and 32, 3 men, 3 women. They must stick their arm out for regular blood tests through a device in the door, but they've been warned not to make eye contact with the medics. Instructions and routines will be communicated through short audio briefings. They must exercise for an hour a day, can only shower for 5 minutes twice a week, have limited clothing, laundry facilities. They have to eat prepackaged space-style food used by astronauts and are allowed just 1 2-hour video call with family once a week.
So they're treating it like you're a real mission to Mars. And this is how often you can do it.
No alcohol. You can do tea, coffee, no energy drinks, ration food, 1 small shoebox of personal items. As I said about the shower, sleep hours have to be between 11 and 7. No intimate relationships allowed.
I guess why are we limiting? The only part of this is like, if somebody went to Mars, are we telling those astronauts no sex?
I mean, I would think if you're
not coming back from Mars, why am I shutting that down for the rest of the time? You know?
No, it's a fair point. I'm wondering for this experiment, they just want to try to take that part out of it.
Yeah, that does feel like it would throw a
They're basically coworkers. They're going up with, that's part of it. They're basically coworkers.
It's also like, I mean, it's awkward for everybody else there.
They're in a small confined spot.
It's super. I mean, it's like, it'd be worse than like a dorm room. Before them all, it's 6 of them in a pod together on like a wall together. That would
Text line said, so it's my everyday life after being married for 21 years. Ouch. Ouch.
You divorced now? Or?
No, he's married for 21 years. It's his life.
Why are people like this? Like, why?
This guy's saying this is his life. This is what he has to deal with.
Would you have signed up for this?
No.
What's the dollar amount?
There's always a dollar amount. Yeah.
500,000, 100,000?
Oh, 500,000, absolutely.
100,000, 100 days? Odyssey guarantees your employment when you come back?
Yes. Okay. For 100K? Yeah. But honestly, I don't think nothing less than that though. I
legitimately
100 days. You only get to talk to your family 2 hours once a week.
Showered for 5 minutes twice a week. No sex. Limited space food.
Only coffee, tea, and water.
Can't make eye. You're only around those 3 people or 6 people.
I do really. I think the space food would be the worst. I think space food would be.
Yeah.
One of the 2 or 3
though.
toughest ones actually out of all that. $100,000, I would do it.
That's not what these people are getting paid, by the way.
Did you guys ever see the movie Biodome with Pauly Shore?
No.
That's a pretty classic, we're stuck in a dome together.
No.
They accidentally, obviously, as you can imagine, it's a pretty Stephen Baldwin and Pauly Shore stuck in a biosphere together. They're supposed to be locked in for a certain amount of time. They accidentally get locked in.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrendously goofy and silly and bad.
If we do this, can we do it during the dog days of summer? If the baseball team
yeah.
is not good, you just go there. You don't have to even just think. You just fast forward to football season.
That'd be kind of crazy, though. Is like you come out of this and then you're like,
time to go to St. Joe,
figuring
baby.
Figuring out everything you missed in 100 days would be like a real time warp.
Which is why I think
that'd be a real time warp. That would screw with me.
Which is why I think it would be crazy. I would do the opposite of what Gold's saying. I would just to see how much things have changed. Like put me out for the 100 days in January. Let me come back in March or maybe in February. I come back. I go out before the Super Bowl. I come back after the draft. Baseball's already started. NBA, I missed all of March Madness. That would be interesting. I didn't watch the Masters.
I think you'd have
just
to
get a
choose,
feel for how different things were 100 days after.
I think in our job, you'd have to do it right now. Like
Oh,
today.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Be ready by camp. Be ready by
For our
training
job, you have
camp.
to do it today.
You have to do it today. And then there's still plenty of the baseball season left. You come back and they're in a playoff hunt. All right.
It almost might make you want to go back out for another 100 days if the Royals are playing good. I was gone and they played well.
From the 816 on the text line, they said, why are they limiting video calls for 2 hours? Are they planning on saving money on long-distance calling? My guess is, I have no idea. My
You
guess
only
is...
get so many calls in there.
Well, my guess is just from transmission. They don't want to have... They can't have the transmission signal going for... They want someone on FaceTime for 8 hours up in Mars. Yeah. Or they know in Mars it has to be limited just because of that. They're probably just trying to simulate that.
Yeah, I imagine because like when they were completely went dark on the other side of the moon for a little bit on stuff.
Text line is taking a turn.
Only so many calls.
That's the trash of the day. A lot of people concerned about the sex part.
Yeah, that seems to be the hang up for everybody.
Up next, we'll get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour, talk more about the AFC West and how the rest of the division fared, and back into the overall theme for the Chiefs.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
The first leg in horse racing's Triple Crown is Saturday, so whether you're watching from the track or the comfort of your couch, you can bet the Kentucky Derby on the same place you bet on all your other favorite sports, over on FanDuel. And right now, all customers can get a Derby bet reset. Here's how it works. That means you'll get racing bonus back if your bet doesn't win. The app is super easy to use. You don't have to be a horse racing expert to get in on the Derby Day action. So you bet the fastest 2 minutes in sports on FanDuel and make it that much more exciting with your Derby bet reset. Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks are registered trademarks of Churchill Downs Incorporated. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Verified FanDuel racing account required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable racing site credit that expires 9 days after receipt. Max refund $10 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at racing.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America NA, member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation are teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize outstanding high school sports coaches through the Blue KC Coaches with Character program. From April to September, we'll recognize 6 coaches as a Blue KC Coach with Character. Each honoree will receive a VIP package that includes tickets to a Royals game and more. Be part of honoring our high school coaches whose service is making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. Just go to bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character to nominate today.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. We're in the Midwest, where tornadoes are real and our water table is high. So we practically tap a well every time we dig a basement. As a plumber, I could tell you that water always wins. This month, we have a sump pump special. $200 off a main pump or $400 off a battery backup system. Protect your basement. If you haven't used us yet, we would love to win you over. Visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Robside Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Robside Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Robside Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Robside Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Is your garage door dropping the ball? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoor.com.
RENNER. There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Spring into deals at Lowe's and let your inner gardening guru out. Get select 1-pint annuals for $1 to start planting. Plus, get a free additional Cobalt 40-volt 2-amp-hour battery when you buy a select Cobalt 40-volt trimmer and blower combo kit for your lawn. The smell of fresh-cut grass, new plants, and weekends in the yard? It's springtime, and our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/6. Annuals offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game.
Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug!
Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down.
Hey!
Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by Leavenworth PD. Be a cop, be yourself, build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply today at leavenworthks.gov/police. Don't forget, you guys can chime in. We'll talk some Chiefs draft right now. 913-586-7965. Bink's going to join us at 1 o'clock today. We'll talk all things draft. We'll also talk about Pittsburgh, get his reaction, I guess, to Cody's incident with the bartender, get his reaction to our Friday night at a bar with people coming up to us randomly, and one bizarre, 60-second interaction. I can't wait to hear Bink's thoughts on what I should have done in that moment.
Well, Dusty's suggestion was you should have just said you were from Pittsburgh.
That was actually
which is going to be a tough sell with a
answer.
KC on your chest.
Well, it would have been a good answer, except then she would have said, well, wait, where, how long? Or if I said near Pittsburgh, she would ask the neighborhood, the city. It would have got really confusing. I don't know the city well enough. I would have been bad. She would have known I was lying immediately.
Just moved here, originally from KC. That's how you could be.
Just moved here. Oh, where do you live? And I give the address to the place, the Airbnb?
Yes, that's exactly what
that was the other problem. Is
I live 15 minutes down the road.
All you got to
say
is
I'm
you're
new in town.
Yes.
I think the neighborhood's called Little Italy. Live over on that.
I mean, okay.
But then,
I think at that
she
point,
invites me over to. But then she invites me over to her friends' circle over there at the bar, and then they're all questioning. Then I look like a complete a-hole.
Why did you move to town? You're like, oh boy. Then you got to commit to a full lie and just being a jerk of a person. So you probably did the right thing.
All right.
I was just surprised by how quickly she blew out of town.
We'll ask Bink about that coming up at 1 o'clock. All right, back into the draft, and we'll get into the Chiefs in particular. But the AFC West, we actually haven't really had a chance to talk about since Friday's show or Thursday about the rest of the division. We know Mendoza went number 1 overall, to the Raiders. Who do you guys actually think in the AFC West had the best draft? I think it's two teams that you could start having the conversation with. I think the answer is either the Chiefs or the Raiders.
I think it's legitimately no other argument.
The Broncos didn't even have a first-round pick. That automatically makes it tough to acknowledge that. But how about we throw them in the mix and we say Jalen Waddle was their first-round pick, because he was, essentially. So, okay, start to balance that out there. I think the Raiders had a very good draft. I understand it's the Raiders, and it usually doesn't work out for them. I get it. The reason why they get graded pretty well is they have the number 1 overall pick. They get a potential franchise quarterback. The McCoy pick to open up day 3 of the draft, we all know why he slid. And so that one is a to-be-determined pick. There's a chance that looks like a great pick. There's also a real chance, like every other team was concerned, is that he never plays a snap for the Raiders. So that's why I can't give them the edge. If you draft a player that has a chance to never play a snap, then...
But if they become a Pro Bowler or a full-time starter, they're taking a chance.
We're in Kansas City, and so you'll just think I'm saying this because it's the Chiefs. I actually think the Chiefs had a very good draft. I really do. I understand the concerns about not addressing offense. Like I said, I think this is a 2-year plan for this organization. They clearly focused on defense, and they were on a mission to upgrade this defense. And we're going to find out if it was mission accomplished in terms of results when we get to the season. But in terms of targeting positions of need on the defensive side of the ball and addressing it, yeah, I think they nailed that part of it.
In order, I think the best drafts in the AFC West went Raiders 1, helps when you're picking 1-1, which means you've got 3 picks in the top 70, and they had 2/3, 2/4, 2/5. It's a volume game for them, too. Second is the Chiefs, and I'll explain why in just a minute. Third is the Denver Broncos, and I hated the Chargers draft. And you're going to say, why was the Chargers draft so bad? They took Akeem Mesidor, who I still think is a incredibly... You want to talk about like a raw edge rusher who's also old? How the hell did you get both? You get a player who both needs some developing, according to most stats, and is raw. That feels like a dangerous game. Then they took 3 offensive guards, a safety, and a 4th-round tackle. That, to me, is not a successful draft. You didn't do anything to help Justin Herbert. You other than maybe find some starting offensive linemen, but so many of those were late. Who the hell knows? You took what I think is a high risk, high reward guy at 22 in Mesidor. He was always a guy that I was a little leery on that high into the draft. And then I guess I don't know a lot about Brennan Thompson. Maybe people like him. That might be the only thing that swings it out of there. I thought they did. I genuinely think they did worse than Denver. And Denver didn't even have a first rounder. The thing with the Raiders is it's all dependent on their draft working is really dependent on two things. Jermod McCoy, if it's better than the Chiefs. McCoy being good or not being hurt. And Fernando Mendoza being good. And that's and I think in a lot of other drafts, they would prefer to have somebody besides Mendoza 1-1. I love the Stooks pick. I think that's their best pick, honestly, especially where they got him. I think that might be their best one.
They wish they had number one overall with next year's crop of quarterbacks. I think that's fair to say. They would never say that publicly. But, yeah, next year where you have Dante Moore and maybe Arch Manning and who knows who else ends up being that crop. Lenora Sellers, we'll see, right, how things go. But, yeah, I mean, I think the Raiders had a very good draft. They will find a way usually to screw it up, as I said. But I thought it was really effective. And to get McCoy in the fourth round, at that point, you're willing to take the risk. I mean, they also moved up. They sent a couple picks to the Bills to get up to 101. So they did have to give up some capital to even make that happen. They get a running back in round 4. I guess they just want to compliment APs. We know Ashton Genty, you just spent a top pick last year. So I was surprised to see them take a running back in the fourth round, talking about the Raiders. As far as the Chiefs go, I mean, I think they had the best draft in the division if you consider – they also had 2 first-round picks. Helps. They addressed significant needs. To me, they got the best corner in the draft, the guy that could be a top corner in this league very quickly, if not immediately. It happens with
corners, it happens immediately. He should be top 10 tomorrow.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think he has a chance to be one of the best corners in football here very, very soon. And then we know they go and they address defensive line. I would have liked the edge pick in the first round, not the second, but it doesn't matter if both produce.
They're 11 picks apart or 12 picks apart,
So they addressed it there, and then they clearly wanted some more speed on defense across all their defensive picks, and the safety pick out of Oregon as well to go with it. I was happy with the draft. Am I surprised that they didn't go offense or wide receiver early? Sure. It doesn't mean just because they didn't do what we all thought they were exactly going to do does not mean it's a bad draft or anything like that. So, and the draft grade stuff is always funny to look back on, even 3 months from now or 6 months from now. I will say just about everybody is giving the Chiefs a B+ or an A-.
Yeah, they like the Chiefs draft.
Here was Mitch Holthus this morning, by the way, with the guys talking about why B+, not an A- for the draft.
If you're saying, why didn't you give it an A++ instead of a B++, would be something has to develop in that 8 to 12 yards that catches everything and can get some yak yards in there, somebody other than Kelsey on a consistent basis that becomes productive in there. So is that one of these kind of move tight ends, or is it somebody that has not been drafted, or is it a developmental situation within the franchise?
And we can go through, if you guys want tomorrow, whatever, some of the undrafted guys. That's more of a camp conversation, camp darling. I don't really look, let's be honest, and this is not a shot at any of those guys that are trying to fulfill their dream, but the chances of more than 1 or 2 of those guys making the team is very, very slim. And one of those guys makes the team more likely than not is a special teams type of player. We'll have our fun camp darling stuff when we get there. And I think it's pretty evident based off of the athleticism of the undrafted guys they've signed. Some of them are going to get fans excited up in St. Joe because they went all in on athleticism with some of these undrafted free agents that they signed in. But I don't want to spend too much time talking about the undrafted
I also think that teams have, these draft grades, they've learned a little bit. And, the worst possible grade anybody ever gets anymore is, a C+. Nobody's ever too critical if you went through, and I don't do this very often, but if you're a fan who likes to see what other people are saying about your draft grades, people did genuinely. But also, how could you not? The Chiefs are picking 3 times in 40 picks. You probably I'd be worried if you hated their draft. How could you're picking way too high, way too often to completely dislike what you were doing there. Or at least you really whiffed on some.
What about what they did in the mid to late rounds with the running back? We haven't talked about Emmett Johnson, really.
No.
And they get him out of Nebraska. More of a pass-catching back. And you look at the current depth chart, or not depth chart, we don't know what the depth chart is, but the room, how about that? The running back room for Kansas City. I mean, we all know Kenneth Walker is going to be the bell cow back for this football team moving forward. And then it's maybe Emmett Johnson, Brashard Smith, Amari DiMercato. Those are the 4 backs heading into training camp, maybe there's an undrafted guy, so maybe there's 5, but those are the 4 main backs going in. What's intriguing about him is the pass catching part of it. Kenneth Walker's going to do his thing, but who can help them in the pass game a little bit? We thought Brashard Smith could have been that. They just never really gave him an opportunity. And the fact that they drafted Emmett Johnson and Smith was a 7th rounder last year, I don't know how much you should expect Brashard Smith to get on the field this year unless you buy into, and we'll ask Bink about this idea that Brashard Smith could shift back over to a receiving role as in a wide receiver. I don't know. But what's intriguing about Johnson from the metrics last year, when he did get hit behind the line of scrimmage, he still gained yardage 75% of his carries, which was number 1 in the entire running back class, as in better than even Jeremiah Love in that particular area. And I'm not saying he's better than Love, but in that particular area, he was. 2nd in team touchdowns, 2nd in team receptions. He was a really effective back at Nebraska. So I like the draft pick. I will say, though, he's probably more of just a pass-catching option for you. And can he pass protect? If he wants to get on the field, can he pass protect?
I mean, truthfully, I'll listen on this. Like, I know that this show has a history of demeaning the players that fans fall in love with, who are later round draft picks or undrafted free agent guys, because you and I know that the odds are stacked against them. This is the highest draft pick they have committed to running back since Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
He's going to play.
So this is a real commitment to running back. And I was never a believer that, DeMarcado was ever like a serious contender in the running back room. They signed him for $1 million. He was a safety net. He was never on the field, and all of their history suggested that Brashard Smith was not a guy that they wanted to hand the ball off to ever. They'll throw it to him every once in a while, but they did not want to hand it to him. And a reminder, he was a 7th round pick. So they've put already more investment in Emmett Johnson, their running back, than they have in DeMarcado, than they have in Brashard Smith. I think there's a chance that by the time we get to game 1, Johnson's RB2. And that's why I like the pick, is that based on his style and the way that he plays, Gold, if he can so much as block a little bit, he has a chance to be on the field as running back 2 behind Ken Walker immediately. Now, in fairness, this isn't going to be the Chiefs' typical 60-40 split. This is going to be way more in the 70-30, 75-25 run.
It should absolutely
Based on what they're paying Ken Walker, I don't think that's crazy. And so there won't be as many touches. But none of us would rule out the fact that Emmett Johnson could win the backup job, right? By the
look
time
at the competition. Go ahead, Drew. Look at the competition.
Well, so I would say Brashard Smith, he never really got a chance like that, but I think them taking Emmett Johnson,
pick,
well, I know, but them taking Emmett Johnson in the 4th round, I think is enough for you to say he's running back 3 to at least start the season, and then, depending on what happens with Amari DeMarcado and that whole deal, I think you're going to see Emmett Johnson on the field just because of, like you guys have talked about, the reliability from a pass catching standpoint. Like he can give you something that not that Brashard Smith can or Amari DeMarcado can, but you investing the 4th round pick compared to a 5th, 6th, or 7th tells me it's a role like Bucky Irving kind of when you started, where Rachaad White's the guy and he's the other one to go along, where you pay Ken Walker and he's the guy, obviously, because you paid him all the money, and then Emmett Johnson's going to be the other one that they use. Or should be, at least.
The pass catching is the differentiator for him, because I actually like the signing of DeMarcado, but in his entire career, he's got 50 catches for 324 yards, which is not terrible.
That's how many Emmett Johnson had his senior year of college.
Exactly. So DeMarcado, for a back, 50 and 324 in a couple years is not awful, but yes, it is a complete difference in the pass catching part of it. Now, this is where I think stuff gets. I have one of my best friend is a Nebraska fan, and so immediately I got a text, and I see texts coming in, and people are citing what he did in Nebraska, and this I truly not even trying to take a shot. He had more rushing and receiving yards than Jeremiah Love. There's still a reason he went in the 4th round, though. So, when we talk about the exact numbers at Nebraska, really, really impressive. We don't need to get carried away, though, and act like they're going to have the best 1-2 punch in the National Football League or something now.
But
I think he's going to really help them in the pass game, because he's the one back that can, and I guess Kenneth Walker to a certain extent can, but he's the one back that I feel like has the opportunity to carve out a role as a 3rd down receiving back. I don't think that's any of the other guys in the room.
Well, and I guess the reason why I would discuss Emmett Johnson different than we did even Brashard Smith is, and like we talked about this in the draft, Brashard Smith, considering the sheer number of potentially excellent running backs in last year's draft class, that wasn't an investment at all. That wasn't. They threw a shot. They took a 7th round pick and prayed. That wasn't an investment. It wasn't even an attempt to get a running back. when they took Brashard Smith. They were just hoping. This is an actual attempt. You can find qualified running backs who either start or backups for you in this range. And Drew, you mentioned a name that I think is important because he is my dream running back. Of all dream running backs, if you'd let me pick any running back out of the league right now to start for the Chiefs as a fit, it'd be Bucky Irving, which does appear to be this guy's style at least. It might not hit. He might not be that kind of player, but it is the style of player in which he is.
Yeah.
And so at least there's a possibility, and they're seeing at least the fit from that perspective. And so, like, every once in a while, a fifth-round back comes on and you, like, dream scenario, every time he touches the ball, you're like, is he better than Ken Walker? Which you don't want maybe because of how much they're paying him. But you can quickly move off of that in a couple of years.
I'm not going to say that he's going to be this, but Chase Brown, 4th-round back. Bucky Irving, 4th-round back. Like I know
this is 5th in a weak running back class, right?
So if we're, I know, but it's and maybe that's why he was taken 5th, just because they knew that they might be able to get him in that spot.
I also think, like someone's pointed out, Clyde Edwards-Helaire led in receptions. It's like they didn't use him that way. But also, we pointed out things that I like about Emmett Johnson versus this is Emmett Johnson played in a limited offensive scheme that was not
with a bad offensive line.
With a bad offensive line. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was on the single greatest college football team of all time. The single greatest offensive college football team in the history of the sport. All 200 years of it, Drew. I've never seen an offense that had Jamar Chase. I mean, I can't remember all
Justin
the names.
Jefferson,
Justin
Thaddeus Moss, Terrace Marshall.
Honestly, if I'd mentioned nobody else.
Patrick Queen.
If I just simply mentioned that Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase were in the same receiving unit, you would be like, well, that's probably enough. Don't need to hear anything else. And so, like, I like
Who was the quarterback? Oh, yeah, it was Joe Burrow, too.
I like the pick. I think there's like a 50. I honestly think that they should make it his job to lose. That they should give him the first reps as the 2.
I don't think
What's your other investment? A 7th-round guy who got some touches and a guy who just got here, who's a 4-year vet, but,
Bink
never started more than 2 games in his career.
Bink suggested, I'm sure you guys can ask him about it at one, or maybe he'll even mention it. He thought Brashard Smith might even transition back to wide receiver.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
we'll see.
If that's a good decision or not, but
we'll see.
They do love 5'9" wide receivers, so that part tracks. Tough day for this.
Yes, it is.
The draft is over. Also, there is no severe weather in the area anymore.
But we said, Drew, we'd let him give us one way too early. Mock draft. Mostly,
I didn't send you guys a link for this.
I'm more curious about the top 10 than.
And a reminder, we're doing this because it's fun. Looking at last year's, where Todd McShay's way too early mock draft had Garrett Nussmeier, Chiefs quarterback, going number 1 overall, Caleb Downs 2, Peter Woods, Chiefs defensive lineman, 3, Lenoris Sellers, who didn't even leave college, 4, Cade Klubnik out of Clemson, 5, Drew Aller 7th.
If you guys want to, SB Nation is the one. I apologize for not sending you the link, but SB Nation. I like this one for one particular reason. We can get to it eventually. They have the Chiefs selecting 18th in this mock draft.
Okay.
So they're randomly
by the way,
projecting what they think.
They missing the playoffs again?
Okay.
They have the Buffalo Bills picking 31st, so they think Josh Allen finally gets to a Super Bowl. How about that, huh?
Well, now I know these things bogus.
All right.
Correct.
Okay.
Anyways, 18th, they have him taking Ellis Robinson IV, a corner from Georgia. There have been a multitude there's a few of them. We've seen corner.
They have the Chiefs taking a corner?
DJ Uiagalele's brother is mocked in another one to the Chiefs. And then I believe there's another mock draft that has them taking I think it's an edge.
I got to say, I hate to be pre-offended.
Another edge.
If the Chiefs pick 18th next year and take a corner, I'm already mad at Brett Veach. What are we doing here? They spent 2 of their first 4 rounds, including a trade-up.
How do you wide receiver?
Yeah,
I mean, that means
or offensive tackle.
Or tackle. The hell? They're taking a corner already?
That means Noah Williams did not pan out. Christian Fulton did not pan out.
Noah Williams looked pretty good, too.
No, I'm just saying that's your reasoning to take corner is they actually are not as good as they thought they would be from that position standpoint.
That'd be offensive.
The reason I find
I'm excited that today's the last day of mock drafts for about 8 months.
The reason I find this one interesting
I'm mad at this one. It's just like never watched football before.
It's because obviously, the quarterback conversation is one that'll be fascinating. Dante Moore, they have going number 1 to Miami.
Okay.
The Jets taking Arch. Julian Sayin is a quarterback to watch from Ohio State. The other one that they have listed inside the top 10, which I find really interesting, is DJ Lagway. He
Florida quarterback.
hasn't been able, now he's at Baylor. He hasn't been able to put all of it together. When he's at his peak, you're like, okay, this dude can make ridiculous plays. He's able to make all on his own. Offensive line didn't block well. He's able to make throws that make you go, wow. but it was inconsistent at times. Plus, he was dealing with injuries last year. He would be a name that actually might be kind of fun where nobody's really mentioning him anymore, that he actually goes a lot earlier than thought. This one's also interesting.
Who did this mock draft?
SB Nation.
No, but like, who's the guy?
Was it all their riders like picking for their team or something?
James Detour. Did you see who the
This guy sucks.
Did you see who the Rams take at number 30? Lenore Sellers.
Okay. After just taking Ty Simpson.
Correct. I don't know what James is thinking here.
He's got an ayahuasca journey with Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know what James is thinking.
The current odds, by the way, have Arch Manning as the leader to go 1. Dante Moore 2.
Okay.
So this would be like the top 10 because these are the odds to go 1. Jeremiah Smith, Julian Sayin, C.J. Carr, Leonard Moore, Darian Minsa, and Lenoris
C.J. Carr is a fun. I think Dan Orlovsky likes C.J. Carr more than anybody but Arch Manning, I think, and Dante Moore. I can't remember. I think it was Dan Orlovsky. C.J. Moore could be really, really good. The other one, wide receiver. Everybody's talking about Jeremiah Smith. Cam Coleman is the guy to watch this year in college football. He's at Texas. Cam Coleman might single-handedly help Arch become the number 1 overall pick and himself be a top 10 pick. He's that dude.
We had one chance at a future mock draft, and it stunk up the place.
Well, that's why I wanted to bring it up. Because they're all going to stink, or this guy could be dead on.
As we said,
they all are like, what are you talking about right now?
Todd McShay, he had some of these guys that he had going in the first round. I don't even know if they got drafted.
By the way, Ahmad Hardy, 12th to the Tampa Bay in this.
Oh yeah, tell me the rest of last year's. I got to know some of the other players now.
So he had Drew Aller going 7. He had T.J. Parker going 9th. Reuben Bain going 10th. He wasn't terribly far off there.
There you go.
Jeremy Bernard going 12th. He went Jermard McCoy going 13th.
He went in the 4th round.
Evan Stewart, wide receiver, Oregon. Don't know who that is.
He's really good in the playoff. No, I think he's still a
Deontay Lawson, Damani Jackson, Jeremiah Love going 17th. Keldrick Falk going 18th. Jair Hill, Isaiah World, Caden Proctor going 23. Wasn't too far off there. Gabe Yakis or whatever going 24th. Carnell Tate 25th. He went much higher than that. Mekhi Lemon, he had going 29th. And he had Caleb Banks going 31.
He's not
and
that
then
wrong on the quarterbacks.
Tight end Joe Royer out of Cincy going 32.
He went way late.
Avion Terrell going 27. Anyway. So.
He wasn't that off than the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks are always the ones where it's like, oh yeah, this guy's going to go.
Who's Nick Harbor? Wide receiver
from South Carolina?
Yeah.
Dude, I think he's back in college.
Okay.
Bink loves him. He's 6'4", runs like a 4.29 or something like that, or 4.3.
Next year.
Those stats are right. I love him too. I don't even need
the measurables are ridiculous with Nick Harbor.
Up next, let's get to what's trending and back into what the Chiefs have done recently and this offseason. Is it enough for Patrick Mahomes? We'll also discuss someone that wasn't even drafted and is getting invites.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Cole Reagans, and you're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Fanatics Sportsbook is turning up the heat with squad bets, the smarter way to parlay. Available across NBA, MLB, and NHL. Just tap into the Fanatics Sportsbook app and build your custom squad by combining player stats into one bet. Pick points, rebounds, assists, strikeouts, goals, and set your target. And here's what makes squad bets different. We all know one cold performance can tank an entire parlay. Not anymore. With squad bets, one player slips, another can step up to cover. One player cannot bust your parlay. Your bet stays alive, all the way to the very end. Track it live. Cash out whenever you want. Squad bets, only on Fanatics Sportsbook. Parlays hit different here. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET.
DQ presents the $7 meal deal. A delicious
proposal and scheduled my project on the spot. When you choose CertaPro Painters, you're partnering with trusted local professionals with over 70,000 five-star reviews. Ask about their independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come see us in store. Shane Company engagement rings are crafted with care from our hands to yours. Because a friend wants your ring to be nothing short of perfect. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
The sun's out, the bags are packed, and the spring getaway is finally here. Start your vacation on a high note at Park & Go. Don't let your car bake in the sun while you're away. Every single spot is covered, keeping your car cool and protected from the elements while you're gone. Just park and relax. Park & Go's free shuttle meets you right at your trunk, helps with the bags, and whisks you to the terminal. No long walks, no hidden fees, just great service and family-owned care 24/7. Reserve today at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go.
By Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale of the year is back. The tires at cost sale. That's right. You pay what we pay, plus mounting and balancing for only $30 per tire. Reserve yours at TELLEtire.com. Take care of your car. Take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Turns out, talk isn't cheap. Just talking about affordability doesn't make things affordable. Straight Talk's had the same price since 2009. Plus, their Gold plan includes a Walmart Plus membership and $20 in Walmart cash when you activate. That's more than just talk.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straightforward, always. Valid through May 17, 2026. $20 in Walmart cash for Straight Talk Gold or Platinum plan customers newly enrolling in Walmart Plus. Limit 1 per enrollment and account. Same price claim applies only to base monthly price of the $45 Straight Talk plan, beginning October 2009.
Draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue.
Hey Kansas City, this is Cole Reagans. On your way home from the K, tune into Vern's postgame show right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFN. What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti. What's trending is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor, all things parking lot.
Of course, the draft in the books out in Pittsburgh. It is good to be back in studio today. The Chiefs, we've been talking all about it today. Of course, going all the way back to round one, it was Mansour Delay in the corner out of LSU, 6th overall. Then they go Peter Woods, 29th overall. And then heading into Friday, it was the 40th pick with R. Mason Thomas, the edge rusher out of Oklahoma. And we fast forward to Saturday. We were just talking about Emmett Johnson, the running back out of Nebraska. He was at 161. I guess I skipped round 4. I'm sorry. Jaden Kennedy, the safety from Oregon. Also Cyrus Allen, round 5, pick 176. And they wrapped it up with Garrett Nussmeier, the quarterback there, round 7 out of LSU. We'll talk more about that throughout this hour. And 1 hour from now, Jay Binkley going to join us in studio as they have their final character concern draft special tonight. They'll wrap it all up this evening.
Next up on What's Trending, and what we'll talk about at 12:30, the Royals. Winners of 4 and 5 after a Lane Thomas walk-off home run to wrap things up at the K. That's after an over-hour rain delay. Eventually paused the game. Remember, they moved it up to 3:10. Got most of the game in as the rain continued to pour into the Metro, but then had to take a break as they waited for it to blow out of town. West Coast game or so before they're back home.
Lead that series 2-1. That's around 7 o'clock tonight over on Peacock and NBC. Later one tonight, OKC looking to wrap up their series and get the sweep against the Suns. That's at 8:30. The late game tonight, Minnesota Timberwolves are not going to have Anthony Edwards due to an injury, but they do lead the Nuggets 3-1. Could Denver make this interesting? If you're Minnesota, it does feel like you kind of need to end this thing tonight. Otherwise, you put yourself in a spot without having Anthony Edwards where you give the Denver Nuggets some hope with that veteran experience. But NBA playoffs have been awesome to watch so far. A lot of injuries, but surprising series. Not even upsets yet because these series haven't ended, but certainly trending towards an upset maybe with the Pistons. Of course, the Lakers, while they're the 4th seed, they were underdogs entering the series against the Rockets, and they're in position even after last night to win that series.
Yeah, they got up 3-0 in that series. We were watching part of that game at the bar on Saturday night. Funny enough, or Friday night. Sorry, funny enough. Next up on What's Trending, the Texas quarterback Arch Manning currently is opening as the favorite to be the number 1 overall pick in the 2027 NFL Draft. It is him and quarterback Dante Moore 1-2 with the second best odds. That obviously with the draft a year away. Next year's draft will take place in Washington, D.C.
That will be a pretty cool scene. Look, we had
at
a good
the
time.
National Mall.
We had a good time in Pittsburgh. We'll talk more with Bink. A couple things that happened away from football just when we were in Pittsburgh, including someone asking what happened at the bar on Friday night. We'll get to that again in the 1 o'clock hour. But that aerial shot of the National Mall with the draft is going to be absolutely insane.
They said it was a new attendance record for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so the opening night had over 320,000 new record. Overall, over 800,000. I always wonder how do they actually
ballpark it?
Yeah, because that seemed high. It was a great crowd, but that seems high.
It was pretty crowded. I mean, Goldeneye had a chance to catch Wiz Khalifa and Bret Michaels on Friday night.
It was fun.
Honestly, it was a perfectly fine concert until they sang the last song, Drew. The very last song they did as a group. Everybody got back on stage together. The DJ, Wiz Khalifa, and Bret Michaels. And they sang Sweet Home Alabama, but it was Sweet Home Pennsylvania. Yeah. It was awful.
Yeah.
It was offensive. Just find a different song. Find a song that has your state in it. I don't know.
It was they played the hits for the most part, though.
Yeah, they did. The rest of it was fine.
Lastly, on What's Trending, some broadcast news today. Chris Sims not going to be part of the Sunday Night Football Night in America pregame show anymore. This is more and more change. Remember, Tony Dungy's been out. Mike Tomlin's in. I thought they would just take Dungy out, bring in Mike Tomlin. Sims is out as well, so they're reshuffling the deck. And they announced that Sunday Night Football Night in America, they will not be in studio at all this year. They will be on location at every game throughout the entire season.
That's interesting, to be sure. Of course, What's Trending is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor, all things parking lots.
Also, one addition from the text line, they said they were on the kiss cam with their girlfriend at the Royals game yesterday, and they did not get denied like CDOT. That was the exact text that we got.
I still can't believe.
That was last summer.
Never live that down. That's a tough one. Getting straight denied on a kiss cam is awkward. That is hard.
Oh, man, oh, man.
And then he excused it away. Be like, well, we're mostly just friends. I'm like, then why'd you go for the kiss?
Well, that's true.
He thought
if it were just me and Drew hanging out and they post on the kiss cam, I wouldn't go for the kiss. What? Or me and somebody else, whatever. We're just friends.
No, but no.
I didn't want to put somebody else in that spot.
Not the same thing.
Drew and I are friends.
You just said if it was you and Drew hanging out, you wouldn't kiss him. That's what you just said.
Fine.
Moving on. Moving on.
Not the same scenario at all, man. Elsewhere, let's get back to some football, shall we?
Sure. And then we'll talk some Royals coming up at 12:30.
We will. They're playing some better baseball, 4 of 5. The draft is complete. The offseason is not fully complete because I think you and I both believe there will be some other veteran at some point signed.
I do.
Maybe it's not the big names that we've discussed, Cam Jordan, et cetera. Do you think this offseason, and let's back up even the last couple years again, now let's revisit the conversation. Are they doing enough when you have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes? Are you doing enough to help him out? That is about this offseason and also the entirety, really, of this last 5-year run or so. Because I think this conversation gets jumbled because the results at times have not been there. That's even weird to say, right? As I say it, I'm like, this team has won 3 rings. The results,
but not from the offensive players they've drafted.
Yeah, the results from Xavier Worthy to this point have not been what you would want to see. The results in the past from some of their other picks had not been what you wanted to see. Signings, maybe at the time, addressed needs, but the results were not there. I think that's where it gets complicated, because I would argue if I run through and I tell you where they drafted certain players and spent money, they've definitely done enough. Maybe the results haven't. For example, they spent a first-round pick on a left tackle in Josh Simmons. They've spent a second-round pick on their current left guard. Their current center was a second-round pick who's now the highest or second highest-paid center in football. Their right guard is the highest-paid right guard in football. Their right tackle, while I have questions about Jalen Moore, They went out and brought him in. He's the highest paid sixth highest paid offensive tackle. That's a problem, but he is. Their wide receiver 1 is a second-round wide receiver, Rashee Rice. Their wide receiver 2 is a first-rounder. Their tight end is Travis Kelce, who they continue to pay, and then they spend a ton of money on Ken Walker. So I think they're 2 separate conversations. Have the results been there the way you would want from Rice and Worthy? No. But this idea that they have not spent resources around Mahomes is false.
So no resource. Look, I don't want to comp it to what I think happened with Aaron Rodgers, let's say, in Green Bay. I don't think it's that Gold. But I don't think can I also say that I'd like them to do more? So in my position, have they done enough? Not quite. And some of that is when they don't pan out, you have to try again because it's Patrick Mahomes and you have him. And for the most part, I would say a large majority of those. And I'm not even disagreeing with some of the guys they've paid. If you look at their roster, about half of their highest paid players are on offense and about half of their highest paid players are on defense. So it's not like they're doing an equal split and somehow investing more. But if you look at the defense, over the last 5 years, 4 of the 5 years, they have spent way more of their first 3 to 4 round picks on defense, and 1 they spent more on offense. To me, that's not enough. That's not enough. And in a year in which, and for the last, and I've mentioned this before, we're talking draft, for the last 5 years, the defense has consistently been better than the offense. So why not give Mahomes more help? I'm not saying they're not trying at all. See, that would be disingenuous, and I don't think that's accurate. Largely, the offensive line is where they have been doing nothing but try over and over and over again. But also, they have the cheapest wide receiver unit. You mentioned all the offensive linemen. They also have the cheapest wide receiver unit in the NFL.
But they've spent
draft picks.
Spent 2 fairly premium picks in the last 3 years on it.
They've spent more premium picks on the defense. And so, I would say overall,
more holes there,
they're coming up.
Right?
They're coming up a little bit this year. Yes, they're coming up a little bit light. I'd say they're coming up a little bit light. Not crazy. Not like it's a disservice and he should be upset that they're not. Not that. But if you're telling me, are they doing all enough? Not quite.
Well,
they need to either find better talent for him at wide receiver. They need to find Patrick Mahomes. I won't think they're doing enough for him until they find him the number 1 for the rest of his career, is the truth. But again, that's probably the barrier for me.
I would argue, again, that's why I said I think these are 2 different conversations. Not doing enough or not happy with the results. I mean, you're saying they should be spending more than just 1 premium pick a year on offense. That's fine. But to me, it sounds like you're more upset, and it's fine with the results that they've got out of Worthy and Rice.
It's a little of both, but you have to keep trying if the results don't come. Like if Xavier Worthy doesn't take a leap forward this year, you got to be spending the 20th overall pick at wide receiver.
And I would imagine next year, no matter what, this is what's interesting. I told you, I think we're in the middle of a 2-year plan. I think this is a team that is going to be a playoff team this year, but I don't think they're going to be a top 3 team in the AFC by the time the season ends, and they certainly won't be one entering the season. And so it's a 2-year plan. They went heavy on defense this offseason. Hopefully, if it goes well, they're in a position where then they can focus heavily on offense in 27, and we're talking about a multi-year run again for this organization. I think that's the dream scenario, and maybe what they're trying to address, considering I don't think offensively this was the best draft in the world anyway. We've acknowledged that before. This is not me in hindsight. That we all knew going into this draft. The running back class was not great after Love. I think we all knew the wide receivers are better next year, we think. Doesn't mean that Mekhi Lemon is going to stink, but everybody's propping up the depth at wide receiver next year and the top tier talent. And so I think they're going to focus more on offense next year. Even if this team finishes the 8th best offense this year, I think they will either spend big money on a wide receiver next year, trade for one, or spend their first-round pick on one. Because Rice is not under contract after this year. Xavier Worthy, even if he has a breakout season, will still be entering. He'll be the only guy under contract other than Jalen Royals and the kid they drafted out of Cincinnati.
I would say that, like, I'm basing it off of the 5 years of history, and you're saying, don't worry, they'll do it. Like, at that point, you're giving them credit for something they haven't yet done for Patrick
But again,
Mahomes.
you're making a comment that's different than what I'm saying, which is you're mad about the results, not about that. The results haven't been there. I'm telling you, to say they haven't committed resources to that position, I believe is inaccurate.
I'm not
They've
saying
also
zero.
been
I'm just
picking
saying
28 to 32 in most years.
They've committed more resources to the other side of the ball, and you're saying, well, they'll commit more next year. We don't know that yet. While that might be true, we still don't know. There is big news, though, coming out of the college football landscape. I guess we should probably discuss, right? Drew, you just sent us an article from Pete Thamel over on and this is a potential first-round pick based on some future mocks.
Correct.
Texas Tech, obviously they have entered the college football landscape as a major player the last couple of years with more money coming into the program. Their quarterback, Brendan Sorsby, is to enter a gambling addiction program, according to multiple sources. One of college football's top returning players is now being treated for a residential treatment program for gambling addiction. Said he bet on his team while he was on the bench at Indiana. It also questions whether or not he will be available for Texas Tech this season. It jeopardizes his eligibility for the program.
Yes.
And under federal investigation? Is that right?
He has not drawn
NCAA investigation.
Yeah, he has not drawn the attention of any law enforcement, according to Pete Thamel, or linked to anyone attempting to influence the outcome. Quote from the story says his gambling was a steady flurry of small bets over a period of time. This one seems more like it was his own doing and he got addicted to gambling. We don't know much more than that. I will say this. It also seems to me, this is the skeptic in me, if the NCAA is investigating him, he transferred to Texas Tech to start. You can say I'm off base here, but I think there's also a chance that he's checking himself into this program to show to the NCAA he's trying.
Please keep me
as
eligible.
in, basically, don't rule me ineligible. That's what this seems a little bit of CYA to me, but maybe I'm wrong.
If you can't, if it's proof that he bet on it, you can't ever let him play another college football game again. That's how this works.
It sounds like
the question is, would a team in the NFL take him on? Like, let's just say he doesn't play college football at all. He was projected to be maybe a first-round pick next year. Is there an NFL team that would take him in? He bet on the sport. That's usually pretty much a death nail as it relates to pretty much anything in that way. But, people take chances on quarterbacks.
Did Texas Tech, not the addiction part of it, because, he may very well be addicted to it, but I also think going into this treatment program and making it public knowledge and everything that's happening here, I think perhaps will be used in the NCAA investigation in a more favorable path. But I don't know. Did Tech know at all anything about this?
No way.
There's no way that it's $5 million. He's getting a $5 million NIL deal. There's no chance.
And the NCAA bylaws say, quote, any student athlete who wager on their own games or any other sport at their own schools face, quote, permanent loss of collegiate eligibility in all
him
sports.
Checking himself in is essentially admitting that he did this, where if you're the NCAA, I don't know if they have a choice. There's no investigation to be had anymore.
That's what I'm wondering is
you're not able to play anymore.
To me, there's no to me, it should be simple. He shouldn't be allowed to play anymore. I'm just wondering if this also becoming public knowledge is also going to be basically he tried to get help. Give him don't rule him ineligible. I don't. Maybe I'm completely wrong on this. I don't know.
That would be to me.
I would be doing that for NFL teams, not my college teams.
Fair, that too.
Well, and if you're the NCAA, there's him doing this. Honestly, maybe it is for NFL teams because this stuff would come out, but it's weird though. Like I don't know how this. I get he was maybe under investigation, but the entirety of the process of if he's under investigation, it sounds like he's been under investigation. Why would Tech make that investment on him, knowing that he was under investigation? And why would he be? Because he's been in Lubbock for the spring.
There's just no way they knew, man. The investigation must be new. Like, it didn't say under investigation as of 6 months ago. It said,
right. I was going to say, I haven't heard
investigation.
Of this either, so,
I think it's new because the fact that, according to Pete Thamel, there is no law enforcement involvement. So this is not something that got flagged by a betting site and then got investigated. This is different than the other stories we've been talking about for the last year or so where an NBA player is betting, gets flagged, it gets reported, FBI gets involved, then league gets involved. This is
Like the Iowa State thing or Iowa thing?
Yeah, this sounds like it's a kid who got addicted to betting,
realized
a problem.
Yeah.
The NCAA the only part that I don't know is how did the NCAA know he bet on Indiana football games while there?
Going back to 2022 or whatever.
That's the only part. There's no law enforcement. Now, there are compliance agencies that the NCAA can work with. Like if Cody or Drew or any of us, if you were playing college football or collegiate athletics, your name's in a database and it can still get flagged. So maybe it wasn't a law enforcement flag, but maybe the NCAA got alerted to it and then Swarsby, admitted to having this addiction. I don't know. If he is addicted to it, I wish him the best going through this program. Props to him for willing to go to a program. But from a football end of it,
massive implications.
Yeah, it changes
Huge
everything.
Implications.
They were preseason. They would have been preseason top 10, Big 12 favorites, college football playoff contenders with a possible Heisman Trophy candidate and first-round pick at quarterback. And now they're starting.
Will Hammond is the backup quarterback.
Is he like a high school kid or what?
I think he's been there. I don't quote me on that though. I'm not completely sure.
So we'll keep an eye on.
They're going to have to hope that some coach leaves and a transfer portal opens up and they can pay.
But yeah,
whatever,
if you're.
He's a redshirt sophomore.
If he's not eligible to play, Brendan Sorsby being, then this opens things up. If you're K-State, if you are BYU,
any Big 12 team,
any of the Big 12 teams, all of a sudden a major player is all of a sudden going to have some questions.
Again, if you're just joining us, reacting to the news out of Lubbock, Texas, where the Texas Tech Athletic Department and Brendan Sorsby announced today that their quarterback will take an immediate indefinite leave of absence from the football program to enter a residential treatment program for a gambling addiction. And then there was reporting from Pete Thamel suggesting that he had bet on Indiana football games when he was the backup quarterback at Indiana. Remember, that was 2+ years ago. He was the quarterback at Cincinnati last year. He went in the portal and reportedly is getting, $4 or $5 million to play football at Texas Tech. And now, much more serious matter at hand. Big news, though, in the college football world. We'll talk more about that, I'm sure, with Bink coming up in the 1 o'clock hour as well. Wow. That's quite the story all of a sudden coming out today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge. I mean, again, from the personal standpoint, obviously, it's a big deal for Sorsby. It changes next year's college football season landscape completely. Texas Tech was the prohibitive favorite to get out of the Big 12.
For sure.
And so, especially with Sorsby going there, that was a big reason why, not just all the other talent, but because they had quality quarterback play coming their direction as well. And it's just like you had a player betting on their team while on the bench. Mm-hmm. Somebody said they gave another example, and I looked it up. There was a kid who
Hunter Deckers. His story is wild.
But he got booted. He went to go play JUCO, and then eventually, an NFL team still took a chance on him. And that's
he
probably
got caught while he was still at the school.
Yeah, that story's crazy.
He got caught while he was still there. That did get flagged by the state, Iowa gambling, commission or something. It was something like that. That was 3 years ago, wasn't it? Or something.
That's honestly what's going to have to happen. Sorsby's going to have to go take a job at JUCO, finish up his final year so he can get drafted, and then
he's cost himself $5 million too.
$5 million and the chance to be a first-round pick, second-round pick, third-round pick. Who knows when they'll take a chance on you?
What were the odds? You guys were talking about the favorite. I guess I can put not to tie in. I honestly don't mean to tie in gambling to this. What could be a very serious thing for this kid. I'm just saying that football.
He was a possible first-round pick according to some.
If you made me guess, Texas Tech was going to be the favorite for sure.
Here it is. Here's the odds. So
to win the title.
To win the Big 12, to get to the college football playoff and win the Big 12. It's a huge conference news.
I don't know how else to mention who's the favorite without mentioning odds, and I understand the reason why we're talking about it is because this kid, unfortunately, it sounds like is entering a gambling addiction program. But Texas Tech is the favorite still right now to win the Big 12. BYU 6.5 to 1, Utah 8 to 1, K-State 15 to 1, Houston 16 to 1, and TCU sitting there at 20 to 1.
But what's K-State?
15 to 1.
Okay, sorry.
I hope he gets the help he needs.
Yeah, hopefully.
I don't see how he's playing this year.
So hold on.
I don't think he's ever playing another day for the NCAA.
Do you think
maybe in JUCO? He could play JUCO this year.
Does it make sense though to go to JUCO and then go to the NFL, or just be like, "Yo, I'm ready to go"?
No, you got to play. There's a certain number of years you have to be out of the game in order to be eligible. So I don't know how that works.
What do you mean?
Is he old enough to be eligible for the NFL?
Oh yes.
You can't just leave freshman year.
Remember he was at Indiana, then Cincy, now Tech. He's been. This is his third or fourth year at least.
He's definitely eligible for the draft.
I don't know his actual age, but
I think that was the thing. I think
22.
I think he entered the portal, but considering the draft or transferring,
Because of this, you have to prove people that you can stay straight for a year, which means you go to treatment You get the help you need for the next 90 to 120 days. You sign up with a JUCO program, and you hope you look like Carson Wentz's senior year at, like you go to a smaller program, and then you hope that people still remember what you look like when you played at Cincinnati.
Because if we're talking eligibility,
who's he going to sign with? I mean,
well, that's where the whole JUCO
camp invite.
Well, that's where the whole JUCO thing is weird. Because I don't think anybody's ever been drafted out of JUCO. Obviously, I mean, like that whole thing. I don't know if he has any eligibility to come back anyways. Where if he went to JUCO, based on all the eligibility stuff, is he even able to come back to go to an FCS school or to go to, I don't know, Middle Tennessee State, essentially, in that case? I don't even know if he's got that, or if they would just, if he's betting, his eligibility is gone. He has to go to the NFL, I think is what it is. Like, he has no choice.
There's been a couple Tyree Phillips drafted after playing East Mississippi Community College.
Okay, so he might be able to do that.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so was drafted from Iowa Western just this year, I guess.
Okay.
So it's happened. Not a quarterback, I don't think. Not a high-profile name like this.
Yeah, of this caliber.
But, man, yeah, someone said, what about the supplemental draft? That's true. That's where he could fit in. That goes back to usually, we usually don't see anybody get taken in those, but there is a supplemental draft most years. I don't know if the NFL does it every year, but most years there is one. So we'll keep an eye on that. Massive news in college football. And, yeah, it could have serious implications into the NFL draft for teams that were looking at quarterbacks next year. So up next, we'll pivot a little bit. We'll get back into that in the 1 o'clock hour. Let's talk some Royals baseball. They've won 4 of 5. Are you buying back in? Next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America and a member of FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
This is one of my favorite times of the sports calendar, and FanDuel is celebrating it right. FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day of the NBA playoffs. We're talking special drops that you don't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. The best part of this is it's every single day. All you need to do is head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. I absolutely love the NBA playoffs. I'm talking of every day, every night. Incredible basketball played at the highest level by the biggest stars in the game. So it doesn't matter if it's a buzzer beater or it's a series sweep. They got you covered over on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. So whether you're betting the early game or you're getting ready for the prime time, make sure that you open up the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA and also the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It is out of here. Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the 7th inning stretch of a televised baseball game,
we'll be back after this.
It's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause, and Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
DQ presents The $7 meal deal, a delicious meal serving up serious value. We're talking 100% white meat, seasoned chicken strips, full-size fries, a drink, and of course, a classic DQ sundae. Because come on, no meal is complete without a sweet treat. All for just $7. And now you can try it with the new honey sriracha dip. The DQ $7 meal deal, a satisfying meal full of big flavor for a great value. DQ, happy tastes good.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. We're in the Midwest, where tornadoes are real and our water table is high. So we practically tap a well every time we dig a basement. As a plumber, I could tell you that water always wins. This month, we have a sump pump special. $200 off a main pump or $400 off a battery backup system. Protect your basement. If you haven't used us yet, we would love to win you over. Visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation are teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize outstanding high school sports coaches through the Blue KC Coaches with Character program. From April to September, we'll recognize 6 coaches as a Blue KC Coach with Character. Each honoree will receive a VIP package that includes tickets to a Royals game and more. Be part of honoring our high school coaches whose service is making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. Just go to bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character to nominate today.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Growing a brand is hard, but reaching the right customers shouldn't be. Meet Outcomes from Viant. We've built an intelligent platform that handles the complexity of digital advertising for you. Powered by advanced AI, we help your brand show up in the right places at the right time and ensure that every dollar you spend leads to a real business result. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Just after 12:30, back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Jay Binkley in studio. About 25 minutes from now, we'll talk all things draft again with him, what the Chiefs did, what else in the NFL stood out from him, look ahead to free agency, and what's left out there. That's all coming up in just a bit with our guy, Jay Binkley. Video stream up and running on YouTube, Twitch, X, and Facebook. You guys can hit us up on the Jay's Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Let's briefly, though, pivot to the Royals, who have played some better baseball since we left town. Somebody tweeted at me, Cody, and they said, look, now they won yesterday and we were in town, but they said, hey.
And I was in town Saturday night when
you guys left town, the Royals started winning games. Please stay in Pittsburgh. I said, well.
Dang.
They won Saturday, as you said, or they won Sunday, and so that alleviates that. But, look, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to help this baseball team. But it was time to get back from Pittsburgh.
Why aren't we talking more about the fact that they're 5-1 in the new City Connects? Maybe they should just be wearing those all the time.
Why do you think they wore them all weekend again? They were not supposed to wear them all weekend, but the players get a vote on that kind of stuff, and they are superstitious. And
Royals are winning in the City Connects. Let's leave them on.
They are.
5-1.
So look, it's promising what we're seeing from them, and in particular, Jack Caglione. Bobby Wood Jr. finally went yard. Lane Thomas had his biggest moment as a Royal in his time here. And this is a pitching staff that we've talked so much about, but the guy that was struggling was Cole Reagans. What does he do on Saturday? He looked phenomenal for this team. So they're all positive vibes moving forward. Are the Royals, air quote, back? No, I can't say that yet because this is still a team 6 games under 500. It's promising. I want to see what they do in Sacramento. If they were to sweep the A's or they win the series against the A's and suddenly they're 3 games under 500 and we can sit here on May 1st and say, you know what, as bad as that was, somehow they're only 3 or 4 under 500, that would be a huge, huge step forward. But I'm not going to say they're back when they're still 6 games under 500. We all know what the math has to be. Not that they're right now 3.5 games, only 3.5 games back in the division. Yeah. That's what they are, but that's not the math right now that matters because we all know come September, it's not going to be just the 3.5 games back part. It's going to be they have to be at minimum above 500 to win the division to become a playoff team. So the number that matters more now is they're 6 under 500, not that they're 3.5 games back.
Look, and after the 8-game losing streak, they've won 4 or 5 games. Okay, great. That's exactly what they had to do. And, and of course you can't help but think, could you just won 2 of those? 2 of them were 2-1 losses. 1 was a 6-5 loss. They lost 4 straight 1-run games. 6-5, 2-1, 2-1, 10-9, then a 2-run game at 4-2 before they started getting their ass kicked. And then eventually lost one in Baltimore right before the winning streak in extra innings, that 12-inning game in which Salvador Perez seemingly maybe put them back on path if they had won that one, but they got that last night. Look, the most encouraging thing is it had been easy last night to lose that game the same way they lost the Salvi one. Have the heroic moment. Jack Caglione against a left-handed pitcher stepped in for a pitch hit rope of a home run. The young player came through in a massive spot to keep your hopes alive. And look, there's a lot of other moments that kept him alive. Bobby's home run earlier in the game, Vinny Pasquantino's triple in which he 2-out triple in which he came around to score. There's plenty of moments that got him there. But certainly the big one from him, and then of course the other big one from Lane Thomas, which was eventually, they were down to their final out multiple times. That is, in my opinion, the kind of win that can propel you to more winning. But the next week and a half is the truth teller. 6 on the road on the West Coast against teams who are currently 500 in the American League, teams who you could be fighting for a playoff spot with down the road, and then 7 games against the 2 teams at the top of the division, and the 2 teams are going to stay at the top of the division unless you do something about it. And so, I'll buy back in all the way if they go through that stretch of games playing winning baseball. At least 7-6, 8-5 would really probably have me bought back in, but somewhere in that winning way. They can't go 5-8 over the next 13 games, and then I'm just supposed to have bought in during this winning streak. One of the most encouraging ones, and we didn't talk about it a ton just because, I'll be honest, originally it's like we were going to talk a little Royals today, but the draft had wrapped up. We had had a pretty Chiefs-heavy show, and then the game was awesome last night. Lane Thomas, it's the walk-off winner. The thing that they probably needed most that took place during these 4 games in 5 is Cole Reagans looked like Cole Reagans. Finally.
He did. It had been a rough go.
He looked awesome. 6 innings, 8 strikeouts. I saw Ken Jennings posting about getting a free item from Price Chopper. He was apparently at the game that Cole Reagans started. Dead serious.
Why was Ken Jennings in town?
No idea. But he said, apparently if the Royals start against one more strikeout, I get a free item at Price Chopper.
Well, I'll tell you that.
Then eventually Cole Reagans got the 8 strikeouts.
The best promo thing going right now, man, is the free Hawaiian Bros. So have you guys been seeing this? This has happened 4 times this week now. If the Royals at home score 6 or more runs, you get a free classic plate. Get that huli chicken, man. Again today after the show.
I'm not kidding. I ate it for lunch yesterday.
I had it Friday when we landed. Friday night I went on the way home from the airport.
You went on the way home from the airport?
I was starving.
And then ate it again yesterday?
Not Friday. Sorry, Saturday night. Saturday night.
Did you eat it yesterday too?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't going to do it back to back.
3 days in a row.
But after the show today, if you're a Hawaiian Bros Rewards member, they load in your account. When the Royals are at home, they score more than 6. And it's happened multiple times. That's a great promo right now.
Yeah. Right. Well, because they're scoring. I think that's probably the part that stands out in it. But they needed Cole Reagans to look like him. I will say, And this is like, I don't want to be negative because they're winning right now. And so like, it's just not fun, honestly, to be negative. It's not,
Yeah.
It's as in like they're winning right now. I want them to continue winning. I don't want to just like beat them up. They're still, their biggest concern still is the bullpen is disaster.
Carlos is just MIA. We just
Well,
Do we
JJ
still not have an update
is
on
he
him?
in Omaha?
Andy Rogers put out an article, and in fairness, I forgot to read it, but it said it was mentioning Michael Garcia and that they think he'll play. Like they keep saying they think he'll play, but I think they mean it this time, and he should be starting back in the lineup because he missed the entire weekend series as a starter. In that article, I remember she said plus an update on Carlos Estevez. So should I go look? If the internet would work better in this building, then at least I could take a look. But yeah, hopefully he's back soon.
Well,
but every time Urseg pitches, man.
Look,
Carter Jensen shouldn't have gotten the pass ball, but still.
Yeah, no, that very true. I will say, I think JJ Piccolo is going to join us on Wednesday. We'll find out. It sounded like maybe Carlos was in Kansas City recently, and so maybe he's getting ready to head out to a rehab assignment. I don't know. Let's be honest. He has really hurt this team. Like, you're like, no kidding. But like, he let this team down. I'm sorry. Like the ramp up and
I'm fine. Trust me.
The velocity stuff. I understand it worked last year and he was awesome, but he really screwed this baseball team to start the season. I'm sorry. He absolutely screwed up this bullpen, their whole plan. Now, you can put some of that on the front office as well.
And Urseg's been worse.
Like, some of that is absolutely on JJ as well, but Carlos put them in a really crappy spot.
And sorry, it was 11 strikeouts on Saturday, not 8. I was just looking at the wrong line. But either way, when you look at it, it's still a problem. Like, yesterday's game's a perfect example of it, Gold. That's a game that they were trying to make the comeback, and were doing a good job. And they did eventually, right? They were doing a good job. Clawing, scratching, fighting, getting runs. And every time they get back within a run or two, the bullpen would give up a couple more. And you're like, hey, can you chill for a minute? We're actively trying to make a comeback here. And if you don't mind, they gave up. So the Royals scored, the Royals scored 2 in the 7th. And you're like, and 2 in the 6th and 2 in the 7th. But the Royals gave up a run in the 7th, gave up a run in the 9th, gave up a run in the 10th. And you're like, relax. Trying to like every time we get within a run, you give up another run. The Royals had to score 2, 2, 3, 3 in 4 of the final 5 innings to get the win because they were down 6-0 in that game. They were dead to rights. Honestly, when the rain delay hit and Bobby Wood Jr. was getting ready to come up against a pitcher who clearly didn't have it, and the rain delay was going to give him a free pitching change rather than make that guy face Bobby, I was like, damn, that's going to be the moment that cost him the game. Because I was convinced Bobby was definitely getting a hit there, and he wasn't given the opportunity because the rain burned him. There was a point that I was worried it was going to be 6-0 after 5, and they were just going to be like,
get
all
screwed.
right, that's
completely
done.
Screwed.
Let's call that a game, But yeah, it's been fun watching the last 5 games. I hope it continues. I hope they win 4 out of their next 5, Gold. And then you and I are probably having a very different conversation about this team. It was fun to watch them again this weekend. This is more in line with the baseball team I was getting. And they did that without Vinny Pasquantino in the lineup on Saturday, Michael Garcia not in the lineup for a number of days. Cags wasn't in the starting lineup yesterday. They've started being careful with him and sometimes Carter Jensen against lefties. Because they realized, and I told Gold this last week, I don't think we ever talked about it on the show. Before the game on Sunday, they were 0-5 as a team when a left-handed starter took the mound. Or on Saturday. And so on Saturday, when they had that weirdo lineup that looked like the Royals had just clinched the division and didn't have to play a playoff baseball game for a couple of days, and you're like, what is this lineup? And Lane Thomas was hitting leadoff, and they had Starling Marte hitting 5th, or Lane Thomas hit cleanup, whatever, and it looked all weird. That's because they realized they have too many left-handed bats, and they were trying to find a way to beat a lefty. I mean, it worked, maybe because Cole Reagans was awesome, but get the job done, then I won't care, It's been fun to watch them the last couple of days, though.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965. Of course, over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, where we live stream the show 4 hours every single day. You can hit us up over on those. I try to stay active in the chats, Gold on the text line. That way you can see some of your answers. This question comes via just my general demeanor and a little bit on Friday night on Saturday when I woke up, I realized I was a bit hoarse. I realized it was because it was the first time I had been in a super loud bar in a while. And you and I were just essentially having to shout at each other the entire time you're there because you're in a loud place and that's the way it works. So I got asked by somebody because they know that I'm generally loud. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about the interview with Mansour Delane in which I was somewhat calm and tone.
Yeah, you were. I mean,
business-like almost. Someone
just
said.
a little sample. Let me see if we can get to that part.
Yeah, can you find it? And I'll give you the question.
You spoke a little bit earlier. That's me asking
That's
a question.
you?
Hold on. What should Chiefs fans know was?
Oh, I got a pup.
What do you like to paint? And I guess what kind of puppy? Now we got to know.
Yeah.
So reason tenured. So the question I have for you is: this is only going to be 50% of the time you talk, because otherwise I think the decision. So 50% of the time, would you rather be stuck whispering or yelling, like shouting?
Whispering.
50% of all of your speech.
Yeah, so I think whispering is the answer. I understand. Now, for what we do for a living,
I think shouting. I'd rather shout.
But you know what?
No one's surprised by that.
Cody, this is where the text line gives you a hard time. I do have this thing called a microphone in front of me. So even whispering,
Sure.
Drew can make my voice louder. It's much tougher for him to turn your voice
You're doing
down.
a radio show though, and you're just like,
it wouldn't be.
This is Alex Gold.
If you're, but
I can't wait.
But also,
but
Cody, I think actually it would make situations way less awkward because if you were yelling while you were at a
so
funeral,
uncomfortable.
if you were yelling at a funeral, it'd be awkward.
I just not talk.
Also, you're.
I think I'd have to just not talk at a funeral.
You're
There's a couple
much more
places I just
likely
have
to
shut
lose
up.
your voice. If you're yelling all the time, your voice is going to be shot within. I don't know how long it would take, but if you're shouting all the time or yelling,
Isn't whispering worse on your vocal cords though too? Like, can it be?
can't
if
be.
you're-
really, is it?
I
Plus,
think both
I gotta
are
say,
bad.
I'm pretty
but-
accustomed to yelling. So, like at this point, that's a more natural environment for me to be in. I don't whisper ever. I'm not a quiet
I don't
person.
whisper that often.
Yelling's not good for you, but I swear I thought I saw somewhere like yelling or softly
Interesting.
can also hurt your vocal cords.
Interesting.
I don't know.
So you both say whisper, huh? Someone says whispering, but I have 7 kids, so that's not really an option.
I just wouldn't want to lose my voice because I don't.
Is that a problem? Like I don't like. I mean,
No, but I don't.
I don't lose my voice very often. I don't yell 50% of the time.
I was
talk.
gonna say, but if you're yelling that much, I mean, it would. You're at least your
I want Gold to find out about
your
this.
voice would be hoarse.
If whispering's worse for you.
I did. I found out.
Oh, okay, what's the verdict?
It is true.
So whispering's. So you're more likely to lose your voice whispering.
Whispering is generally bad for your vocal cords, especially when you are sick or hoarse. It forces into an unnatural tense position that causes more strain and dryness than quiet talking.
But hold on, but you, if your voice is hoarse, it's because of you yelling though.
Yeah, but at least
Not
they can
always.
hear
You could
me.
just be. You could just have it. You could
Sure,
just have.
sure, if you're sick, but if you're yelling, your voice is going to be hoarse, and
So-
then you're stuck where you have to yell 50% of the time while your voice is hoarse. That would be miserable.
I would say that here's the part that really gets me is the how close I would have to be to people to whisper half the time. Every time I want to talk to you, Drew, I got no. Because what would happen is like,
Or
especially
you
for
just
what
don't
I do,
talk, I guess, is
especially
what
for what I
happens.
do for a living, I need to save that 50% of when I can talk normal for just the show, which means I got to be whispering anytime we're all hanging out together. Anytime we talk, that's a nightmare.
Go into a spot would be
Nightmare.
impossible.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't go to the
up
bar.
showing up to like the draft party. No chance you'd be able to whisper, I guess. So
No,
that's a good point.
You have to be it'd be great, I guess, if I worked at a library, but if it wasn't that, then I'm stuck in an awkward position. You can't have any job that's like forward facing in which you got to speak a lot and choose whispering, I don't think. I think you have to choose yelling too. I think if they gave you a week tryout of both, you'd quickly find out you'd rather yell. You'd rather yell.
Someone says, "Are you sure, Cody? You woke up hoarse? Did you sneak out after we got back? Did you go to the corner bar even though we were back? And
No, we
people
got
were
back
wondering if
and
you
I-
went to the smoking bar.
Hang on, did you?
I like YouTube just said, Cody, I don't whisper ever. Yeah, we know, is what it says. What, Drew?
Did you try at all to do the Yinzer accent at all?
No. Timing didn't work out, honestly.
Going to the bar, that bar would have been perfect. All the 20-year-olds would have looked at you like you were crazy.
So in fairness, that place they
that
probably would
would've
have just made fun of me. It wouldn't have been a big deal. The other bar, I genuinely think it might have been a safety concern. Like Odyssey might have been concerned for my safety. If I were to
at the one that
lose.
you made me look up, I forget what it was.
Lose Little Corner Bar.
Yeah.
That would have been the spot that certainly would have gotten my
The
ass.
place we went to was. We'll talk more about it with Bink. It was called like Walters, wasn't it?
Yeah, Walters. It was a good spot.
It was.
It was a fun time.
It was fun. I had a good time.
You know, good interaction, I guess. But yeah,
That's the random question of the day, by the way. Thinking of interaction, we forgot to mention this on Friday's show. We got so busy, of course, with the post round one stuff. So if you guys have listened to our show, let's say at least for the last 2 years, and appreciate that, and hopefully you guys have been listening since we started back 6 years ago, we told you the story of a air quote media member who goes to a lot of events, including
this is true.
Big Slick, And there was a Facebook post a couple years back about a flight that unfortunately had to have an emergency landing. You guys remember the Delta flight? I think it was from Canada to Minneapolis or Minneapolis up to Canada. And I believe in that circumstance, I believe everybody survived, thank goodness.
Yes.
But there was a Facebook post, and this gentleman posted, oh my gosh, I was on this plane, and all these photos. And we did some digging because it didn't add up. And we found out he basically stole photos from the AP and yada, yada. He was never on the plane, and we called him out for it. And on the show, we joked, and we did some more digging and found out he calls himself The Gear.
He was claiming to be one of the all-time great defensive ends in Chiefs history.
So I bring this all up again because we were at the draft on Thursday, and in the media area, we're in the line for food.
Yeah. And Alex had gone back to you had seen him.
I had seen The Gear.
Oh.
And
yeah,
I spotted
in
The
real
Gear
life.
in real life. And as I'm walking back to sit down, Cody is walking towards the buffet line, and we both saw the same thing, and we both were like, oh my God.
I put the cheesiest look on my face like,
and
The Gear!
we did not go up and talk to him, although I regret that decision.
Oh, you should have.
Do you think he because again, he unfriended me on Facebook a couple years ago.
We made direct eye contact.
But The Gear
I
was
don't
there.
know, man.
Drew,
I think he might have
the
known.
Gear
The
was there
Gear.
covering the draft.
I can't believe he didn't announce a Chiefs second-round pick.
We should have gone up to him and said, because I don't know if he knows. I mean, he knows who I am because he unfriended me, but maybe he doesn't know who you are. You could have gone up and said, hey, we're just trying to get media reaction. What do you think of the Chiefs?
Right? You're The Gear.
You're The Gear.
I wish we
So
would have.
we did see The Gear. Bright blue suit, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, full suit.
Of course.
By the way,
wants attention.
In our setting, from like a media perspective, when you're covering like round 2 of the NFL draft, if you're dressed in a full suit and you don't work for a TV station, immediately judging you for being a loser.
I'm telling you about it's something about the suits. I'm telling you. They give off a bad vibe.
You
Unless
do
you're
a
TV.
podcast. You don't need to be in a suit. It's not required. No one needs this. You're doing it because you want people to think you're important. So I do wish I had said something. I did fear that it would invite we're there on the company ticket, right? It's not like me running into them on the street when I can do this.
Uh-huh.
I felt like we might cause a bit of an issue, but it was
People are
the
saying
genuine moment of glee between Alex and I when Alex had already seen him, and then Alex and I realized from a distance we both walked right past the guy.
Someone said you should have just tried to interview him in the voice you used on Binkley.
Is this Jay Binkley?
You could have
just tried to pretend.
Yeah.
We got to ask Binkley about that when he's in
We're
studio,
going
too.
to. We're going to. He's already here. He's been sitting there talking to Drew for the last half hour.
Yeah. He's fired up.
He's locked in, ready to go.
So someone said Walter sounds like a very Binkley place.
Bink wouldn't have liked where we were at Friday night.
Nah,
Now,
too.
Lou's would have been his spot. Walter's Lou's would have been Bink's spot.
Again,
he would have loved it.
Walters was full of 23 to 27-year-olds. It was like, we can't go to the college ball anymore. We've graduated from Pitt. Like, Gold was 23,
Remember,
and he didn't want to go to the Hawk anymore. He wanted to go to, like,
Full disclosure, we only went there because Cody's cousin met us there and said to go there.
Yeah. I say, hey, where's a good place to go? What's a good spot?
Oh, I'm assuming your cousin falls within that 23 to 27?
She is in grad school, and her friend who had graduated from Pitt like a year ago or something. So they're both right in the exact, but that's again, before they even got there, Alex and I were discussing this, that this was a bar full of people that were not our age. And Alex and I are 7 years apart in age. They weren't his age either. So they definitely weren't mine.
They were not.
They definitely weren't my age. Like, I'm for sure. And it was awkward because they were late. We were holding down this massive table for like an hour.
That probably fits 8 people, and it was just Cody and I.
Long? You were there for, I know you said they were running late.
We were there for, we were there for 3+ hours. They showed up an hour into it. We'll tell the whole story again when Bink's in here because I want to get Bink's reaction to everything that happened at this bar after the draft Friday night. But in fact, coming up next, let's get into some draft. Jay Binkley, Character Concern Crew, they got their draft special wrapping everything up tonight. He joins us for a full hour next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting Miss Birdie told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Nemu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
Now's the time to complete that painting project you've been putting off. CertaPro Painters provides a free estimate quickly and at the right price. Whether it's interior or exterior, you'll never have to wonder what's next. They provide reliable updates because they know how important your home is to you. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. Remember, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in Kansas City. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale of the year is back. The Tires at Cost sale. That's right. You pay what we pay, plus mounting and balancing for only $30 per tire. Reserve yours at TELLETire.com. Take care of your car. Take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
The sun's out, the bags are packed, and the spring getaway is finally here. Start your vacation on a high note at Park and Go. Don't let your car bake in the sun while you're away. Every single spot is covered, keeping your car cool and protected from the elements while you're gone. Just park and relax. Park and Go's free shuttle meets you right at your trunk, helps with the bags, and whisks you to the terminal. No long walks, no hidden fees, just great service and family-owned care 24/7. Reserve today at bookparkandgo.com. Park and Go, the best way to start your getaway.
The first leg in horse racing's Triple Crown is this Saturday. So whether you're watching from the track or the comfort of your own home on the couch, you can bet the Kentucky Derby on the same place you bet all your other favorite sports. You can bet it on FanDuel, and right now, all customers get a Derby bet reset. So that means you'll get a racing bonus back if your bet doesn't win. This app is super easy to use, and you don't have to be a horse racing expert to get in on the Derby Day action. So make sure to bet the fastest 2 minutes in sports on FanDuel and make it much, much more exciting with your Derby bet reset. Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks are registered trademarks of Churchill Downs Incorporated. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Verified FD racing account required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable racing site credit that expires 9 days after receipt. Max refund $10 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at racing.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hello?
Hey sis, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Ellsberg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great. I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at Hellsberg.com.
Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes are released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Breaking news for your home. Way Day is here. It's Wayfair's big sale, where you can score the best deals in home, like up to 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Way Day long. You won't find better deals for your home anywhere else. We're talking furniture, decor, rugs, and more, all at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Way Day now through April 27th to score the best deals in home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99. Limit supply. See store for details. Choose Syntec exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue. Follow the station on Instagram for daily videos like the Royal Decree, Chiefs Take Tuesday, and Would You Rather Wednesday. This is Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Oh, yeah, 1 o'clock hour on a Monday. Good to be back in KC after spending some time in Pittsburgh. A man that has been locked into the draft going back to last August, I would say, at least. Jay Binkley. Of course, you guys saw him at the Brooksider on Thursday night with Chris Unocero, doing a great job on Saturday with Chris as well with our draft coverage. And then tonight, they'll wrap it all up right here on 96.5 The Fan. We got Bink already in the building, so he's in for this full hour. We'll talk draft. We'll talk Pittsburgh a little bit. Bink, good to see you, my man. I must say, right off the bat, we thought we saw you about 50 times in Pittsburgh, man.
I'd probably blend in Pittsburgh.
I think you would have been a perfect Pittsburgh
Did you see the photo?
I think I'd blend in. Yeah, I saw it.
I mean, I swear, were in Pittsburgh with us, man. It was honestly
he carrying
incredible.
A Steel City beer?
He wasn't, but he looked ironclad or whatever, right? Look at this. I mean, I'll show you and then I'll show the
Steel
screen.
City or Iron City.
Iron City.
There you go.
But,
yeah.
But it was just like every single person, Bink, loved football,
yeah,
was in Steelers gear, and was like...
And loved sandwiches.
And had a salt and pepper beard. It was like, no, this is Binkley's town. You were just born in the wrong city.
And
You could have been, and you would have been a huge Steelers.
Primanti Brothers. Yeah. I know the photo. Some people said the photo they didn't think was appetizing. It was. I would have got. I told Cody I would go back. It was. I wanted to go back Friday night. It was so good.
Well,
it was
all
cheap
over the place
too.
now. What's it, like 10 locations
I
or something
think
like
so.
that? It's a bunch.
Yeah, we didn't go to the original one, but I had this like because they're all different sandwiches. But Cody got a different type than I did. But
I'm not a big fan of gimmicks when you go to a city, but
This
that
wasn't-
one
yeah.
but definitely I would that one.
Yeah, it was.
Is what I'm saying. I would that one.
It was so good. It was a fun time there in Pittsburgh. We'll get to the bar story we want to run by you, Bink, and what transpired at a bar we were at.
I'm curious.
But let's start with the draft here. Overall, what did you make of the draft? We know the theme was clearly defense. Do you like how they executed in the draft?
I'm a big fan if there's really a guy you identify and it's come hell or high water, I'm getting that player. Like, I respect that. I respect the hustle of, well, we
That's
don't want
Brett
anybody.
Beach's thing for sure. He's the most aggressive other than Loomis.
And Albert Breer had a nice story, and it kind of shed some light on what was going on. Jermont McCoy, the corner out of Tennessee that had the miss last year that fell to the fourth round to the Raiders, which could be a great pick. It could be a terrible pick.
Yeah, we don't know. He may never play.
He couldn't, but it could end up being a great pick if he ends up playing with the Raiders. But when the mocks came out, there was a couple names that were real prevalent in the mocks. Number one mock guy to the Chiefs was Delane. Maybe the teams weren't thinking it, but clearly the mock drafters were thinking Mansour Delane. The other one was Jermont McCoy. And the Chiefs had him as 1B, according to Albert Breer, until the information for the medicals started coming out. Then he said, you know what, if somebody else jumps up and get Delane, because here's the thing, and I understand Brett's thinking this point, because if McCoy was considered as the second best corner in the draft, which a lot of people thought going in, all of a sudden, if you want the quality corner in Mansour Delane, maybe you settle on Jermont McCoy. If he's out of the equation, you need Delane. And so that fear came over him that maybe someone else tries to get Mansour Delane. So I get it. If there's somebody, and they definitely need it. It's definitely a position they need, especially with the quarterbacks in the AFC and the AFC West. You got to get the cornerback situation. Obviously, they lost two good ones last year, so I get that. But if you identify a guy, it would have been interesting, though, because I don't think it would have been bad had they settled for Tyson. Like they talked about, like maybe Cable Downs or Tyson's there. And then trade for Chris Johnson because we loved Chris Johnson. And they mentioned that. And even Dane Brugler, when he came on Fesco, talked to we loved Chris Johnson on the character considers. That would have been an okay draft.
Brett Veach kind of alluded to it on Thursday night about where they had Carnell Tate and everything. And, of course, Tate ends up going to Tennessee. So maybe I'm answering my own question, perhaps. I don't know. But do you think it was that they didn't like the crop of receivers in the draft after Tate and maybe Tyson or Lemon, or based on them not drafting another one anyway till the fifth round, which is a complete wild card lottery ticket, really, that they do feel good about their wide receiver room at least for one more year? Which one do you like? Do you think it was more the draft class, or was it truly their belief in the wide receiver?
Well, I think it was big time the draft class presented to them. But I do think they like Tyson. And I do think they did like Tate, but I think they like Tyson a little bit better. And Tate obviously
But they clearly like Delane more.
But I think if this draft went and they ended up with Tyson, who's an injury risk, but they ended up with Tyson and then Chris Johnson for trading for Chris Johnson, you have to be satisfied with what they did there too. But Delane is a different type of animal. The hope is when he gets that contract time, you're not going to be able to pay it. You're going to have to move him for picks like Trent McDuffie because he's going to command a ton.
I hate that if you're taking a guy at 6. That's even worse than taking a guy at 22.
Four or 5 good years with him with the fifth-year option.
I mean, if you can promise me they're going to continue to churn where they get McDuffie, he's an all-pro, they win a couple rings, they flip him for multiple picks. Now they draft another guy. If you tell me he's an all-pro and in a couple of years they flip him also for another top 10 pick, that works, but that's asking a lot. Like Cody and I have differed on the second contract, but I will admit, that's asking a lot to continue to do it. If they can actually do that, then yes, sign me up for that as well. That is asking a lot to continue to do it.
Well, I understand Mike Bradway, the assistant GM, talked about defense. Wasn't always necessarily that was the plan. That's how the board fell to him. Again, it's because of picks. And Delane is a guy they liked for 3 or 4 weeks. So I have no problem with the team. If they identify a guy, you go up and get it. It doesn't matter where you're picked, 9th, 15th, 20th. If you really like that guy, you go up and get it, and they did. I'm just saying, the Chiefs retooled this defense. People are acting like this was the 32nd defense in the NFL last year.
5th.
It was 10th in total defense, 6th in scoring defense, number 1 on 4th down, 4th on 3rd down. Yes, they need to get better. The problem wasn't the defense last year. The problem was the offense, and they addressed it with the running game clearly with Kenneth Walker. I still think that wide receiver is a problem. I still think at this point, week 5 or 6, they're going to go in the halftime with 1 reception to a wide receiver, like 3 to Kelsey, and people are like, they keep dropping the ball, and it keeps sending in the wrong hand, and they're going to be throwing a fit about receivers. Well, this was the chance to get them.
It's a lot of faith in Xavier Worthy getting a lot better, or the running game just making things easier in the wide receiver unit.
I think Kenneth Walker and Emmett Johnson and DeMarcado help a ton.
I think Emmett Johnson's got a 50-50 chance of being running back, too, by the time the
season
starts.
To be honest with you, it's kind of Marty Ball with a good quarterback.
But I guess with Patrick Mahomes, that's weird. But I do think that there's a part of them that thinks
defense.
We got to do that. We got to do that for a couple of months.
It's kind of Marty Ball with
open it up eventually.
It's Marty Ball with an elite quarterback, is what it is. That's not the worst thing in the world.
I just think we're in the middle of a 2-year plan, and so you weren't going to fix every single area of this team yet. They went heavy defense this year because that's how the board fell, and that's where the talent was at.
And they really have with Brett Veach, by the way. He's been heavy on defense the whole way around.
And ideally, if our Mason Thomas, and we'll get into individual players here in a second with you, Bink, if those guys hit, well, the next offseason, yes, they could be spending big money on a free agent wide receiver or trading for one or spending their top pick on a wide receiver. I think this is more about a 2-year buildup than it is solving everything in one particular offseason. Let's get into particular players for a second. We already...
let's not forget Gold. Usually one rookie really stands up. But this past year, Gelati was the rookie of the year. I mean, it's tough to have 2 or 3 rookies make such an impression where you're sitting there rookie of the year and it's a tough decision. That just doesn't happen.
We talked plenty about Mansour Delane last week, and we can continue to, but because we didn't spend as much time on some of these other guys that got drafted Friday and Saturday, what do you make of our Mason Thomas, who is not the normal Spags type of defensive end? In a weird way, I kind of like that. If they're really willing to adjust, though.
They're going away from the trend. Let's not forget, in 23 and 22, they were number 2 in the NFL in sacks, and that's dropped down the last couple of years when they did it their way. But they went with the shorter arm guys like Karlaftis and Ashton Gelati. That was a different direction they shifted into with what they looked for defensive end. I like our Mason Thomas a lot. I loved watching Oklahoma to watch him. I mean, he did have the injury issues and stuff like that, but this kid... Honestly, this kid's special. I mean, this kid's a special player. If it translates to the NFL, obviously, you look at the size and things like that. They talk about being 3 down and can play against the run. This is a rotational piece because Gelati's not sitting. As much as people want him to, they're not going to sit their rookie of the year and not get at least 30% of the snaps.
Do they still need another veteran, though? Because if he's a rotational piece...
I'd go Cam Jordan still.
Well, absolutely.
100%.
Do you think that's realistic?
And that market might pick up at 3 o'clock. Because it doesn't count against your comp pick. So that market could pick up at 3 o'clock today with the leftover guys like Juwan Jennings and these guys that are still sitting out there that kind of overpriced themselves. That second wave of free agency always happens after the draft because people do the first wave, then they go to the draft and see if they can fill some of those positions. And if they're not filled, back to free agency.
What all do you think that they need? Defensive end, wide receiver, safety, offensive tackle, like in the free agency, if you were shopping.
Well, I think safety's okay.
What's
with
on the list?
Alohi Gilman coming in free agency.
Is that enough?
Well, because
lost Brian Cook, they're just going to replace him with a mid-tier free agent.
Good. Depth at tackle is huge. I still think it's big, and I know we kind of laughed at it and throwing the smoke screen.
They didn't think it in the draft.
But here's the thing, though: are we that set on Jalen Moore? Being the dude.
They are now.
I'll be honest with you. Juwan Taylor, outside the penalties, he is actually a better tackle than Jalen Moore last year.
But, like, there's nobody they're going to sign in free agency that's starting over him now. So you're just talking about having someone just in case he stinks?
Well, here's the deal. Simmons has missed 19 games the last 2 years with college and pro. If for some reason he gets hurt, and then you slide Jalen Moore back over left tackle, then you're sitting there at right tackle and maybe Asa Pole, Wanye Morris in the equation if you have to move him to left tackle. So I do think, and I know that they're looking at free agents. I think that would be the direction they went, was more a free agent veteran lineman for that fit. But it's not like they don't need him. I mean, the number one commodity on this football team is Patrick Mahomes. 100%, whether it's the offensive line or running for his life, which he has, and which he did even when this line was healthy. He was still out there running for 422 yards, a career high last season.
I know you probably disagree with me on this, and I understand that depth, of course, matters at every single position. I guess for me, especially going to 2026, if you tell me Josh Simmons is missing 10-plus games and Wanye Morris has got to play right tackle again, I think they're screwed already at that point. I would also say that tell me one team in the NFL that has a backup tackle that you feel great about coming in and playing for half the season. Like, I just view it like if a team loses their starting left tackle or right tackle, I don't fault them for not having a great backup option. Like, it is kind of what it is. That's a position like quarterback where, a one-game spot start, I want someone that can handle themselves. But I'm not going to be shocked if some team's backup right tackle is not capable of being a starting tackle for 12 games.
Well, the one team that was evident was the team that's in the division, the Chargers. They lost Rashawn Slater in training camp for the whole year. That was their left tackle. Joe Alt was moved to left tackle. He was hurt twice during the year and then showed for the year. Then Trey Pipkins steps in from guard over to tackle. That's the most recent example of both your tackles being out, was the Chargers just trying to make do. And Herbert was running for his life. You saw that. Like, he was running.
But I think that would happen. That's what I'm saying is I think if you lose both tackle, late when it was already.
If you lose both, you're screwed.
Fairly late.
You lose both, you're screwed. You saw what happened at the end of the year with the Chiefs.
Yeah,
I mean, that was horrible.
I guess I'm just saying I don't fault the Chiefs or any team or even the Chargers. Like, if your tackles get hurt, I don't expect your backup to be starting caliber right away. That's just not reality.
Of course not, but it is a position of depth, wide receiver for sure. But at this point, I don't really know what you can get, to be quite honest with you. They might have to go with what they want. But here's the deal. You're banking on no injuries or suspensions, because the last 2 years, the Chiefs have been nailed with injuries or suspensions, because 24 looked great. St. Joe, 80-yard touchdowns, all the memes on Twitter and everything else, the videos. Then all of a sudden, Hollywood Browns got the first preseason game. Then week 4, Rashee Rice is gone for the year. Then all of a sudden, you're taking your undersized wide receiver in the first round at the end of it and saying, hey, you're our number one guy now. And then the next year, Rashee started off 6-game suspension. Xavier Worthy gets hurt on play 3 in Brazil. He's out for 3 games. Again, the wide receiver room looks good on paper sometimes, but paper doesn't play.
No, it doesn't.
And availability has been an issue. So, yes, I do think they should deal with wide receiver. Now, where do they go at this point? I don't know. Maybe,
I think they're just going to
I know people like undrafted free agent Jeff Caldwell. They think he can be the dude. Come on. It's an undrafted free agent for a reason.
No, I think in the end, they'll probably just end up signing Tyreek in August. If you're going to make an actual guess. I want to ask you later, maybe when we get past the Chiefs stuff and the NFL stuff, about what's going on with Sorsby at Texas Tech, which is a huge problem. Man.
He's making $5 million this year.
Yeah,
and the NCAA strictly prohibits betting.
Of course it does. Every league does.
But then you can't bet on anything in college athletics. But go ahead, I'll get to it later. But that's a shocker.
I want to ask you about one thing that happened in the NFL draft that we haven't talked about yet that I do think is interesting, which is the first Heisman Trophy finalist in forever to not even be drafted. Do people hate Diego Pavia that much? Is he that bad of a prospect?
He's 5'9", Bink.
I
he's 5'9".
He didn't get drafted. That man didn't get even.
I think the size.
We're talking the Argonauts have his rights.
I don't think the attitude helps him either. No. Like the size and the attitude, I don't think helps Diego going forward. Keep in mind, this is one of those camp invites. This isn't inside the undrafted free agent. This is, hey, can you come in and throw at our camp?
Can you throw the other undrafted guy just to keep him loose?
Yeah, that's exactly what he is. He's just an invite to that. The rookie minute he hadn't been signed to as an undrafted free agent.
CFL player? Is that what he's going to end up being? He has a terrible attitude.
Or UFL.
UFL, yeah.
UFL, man. St. Louis
Him and
Battlehawks.
Todd Haley can coach him up.
Did you see him? He was twerking after
Yes,
a win the
yes,
other
he
day.
was. He looked
Hey,
like
did you see
Rob
that, Bink?
Ryan. Rob Ryan twerking.
I saw him on the sideline. I was like, but it's before the twerking thing. I was like, wow, Todd has turned into Rob Ryan. Like Todd has morphed into Rob Ryan.
I would say, like, if you'd showed me two photos of those two of Todd Haley
That
10
was
years
not
ago,
the dude on the sideline for
yeah,
the Chiefs.
if you'd show me a picture of him 15 years ago and a picture of him today, I'd been like, something went wrong in this
Well,
man's
we're
life.
kind of
and
all like
things
that
got,
15
things
years
got
ago.
rough. Yeah, but his was a special dose of it.
Oh, he let himself go, man. He was
was
enjoying the fine life.
His was a special dose of the uncomfortable.
That's a guy taking that fired buddy and
Who did
bending it.
Yeah. Who did you think out of the AFC West? Whose draft did you like the most? And then I liked the Chargers the least. I didn't care for their draft.
Probably
at
the
all.
Raiders. I didn't like the AFC West. You look at their drafts from the Broncos. The Broncos didn't do anything. I mean,
Jalen Waddle was their first round pick, basically.
Jonah Coleman from Washington, like that. But that's not a difference maker. There wasn't a guy from the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Broncos where you sit back and say, "Man, I can't believe they drafted him." Like if Kenyon Sadiq, Brock Bowers when he went on the Raiders, said, this dude's going to be a problem. Like this dude at some point is going to be a problem with the Chiefs. Fourth quarter, if they ever get a quarterback, he's going to score a touchdown. He's going to be a problem. But you look at these draft picks and you're sitting there going, not one of them, like McCoy did a little bit. He's injured, so we don't know what's going to happen. But with the Raiders,
That might have been the only other one. I like the Stooks. I like that pick.
Well, the Chargers still have a problem catching the football, and they did draft Slaughter, the center, out of Florida, so that was a good pick for them for that offensive line. But there wasn't that guy that made you say, oh, man, they got to deal with this dude for years to come. So that's what they do. Or the Jets. Man, I love the Jets draft. I love what they did.
Well, when you got 3 first-round picks, it's kind of hard to screw it up. I also like the players they took. So
the funniest thing was Cade Klubnik, because all these Clemson guys fell. There was 9 of them drafted. Clemson all fell. All these players, fell except for Blake Miller, who ended up going 17th, the right tackle.
I mean, Parker and Woods went in the top 35 or whatever.
But they were
right?
expected to go a lot higher.
Well, we look back at the early mock drafts from Todd McShay last
Woods
year.
And Parker
Garrett Nussmeier was number 1 overall in mock drafts a year ago at this time.
He had that abdominal problem that really set him back. But Klubnik was funny because he made the quote of the weekend. He had told the Jets media that he fell asleep and he woke up hoping the Jets would draft him. I have never heard a player saying, of course he made it up. I've never heard a player say, I hope the Jets draft me. When have you ever heard that, Gold?
Never.
Okay.
And those Jets players are going to have a brand new head coach next year anyway. So
that's why pieces everywhere except for quarterback. That team legitimately has a ton of good pieces.
Yeah, they're praying they're going to draft Dante Moore,
tight end, wide receiver, running back. They're loaded.
Their fans should want another top 3 pick one more year, fire their coach, hire an experienced coach, and draft.
Hire Todd Haley. That's what Jets should do. Just kidding.
He said a qualified coach. That didn't even work out here. No, I like with them. It's like the Jets. It's like, yeah, of course we like it. They selected 2nd overall. They all took the pass rusher we all wanted in David Bailey. Then they took Sadiq, right? That was their second.
And that was a hot name for the Chiefs early on before Kelsey made his decision.
So of course it's like, I mean, and it is hard to dislike. That's why the Chiefs can't have that bad of a draft. They
when you guys are in DC, it better be wide receiver, man.
I don't know if we're going next year. I mean, I would love to be
That'd
in
be
the
a great
nation's
spot
capital
for you to sit
for
there in the nation's capital and get a wide receiver.
It looks beautiful. The setup they already have, the renderings
Let's
for that
hope
thing.
Rippon doesn't talk because he's going to be on that
Mark
committee.
Rippon?
Yeah, Rippon talked way too long in Pittsburgh. People are really ripping.
How about the Ravens player? Who was that brought their kid up there?
Mark Ingram came there and
he brought his kid up there, and the Steelers suck.
I actually thought that was funny.
I think that you should be in that situation. I just think I love that he did it. You're allowed to boo a kid if they say that in your city.
Yes.
If somebody comes up there, some kid, like whoever, just some former Raiders players, kids up on the stage and said the Chiefs still suck, you're allowed to boo a kid in that moment. It's one of the very few times that it's acceptable to boo
the whole
a child.
state was a big Steelers feel. Of course, we know that the Chiefs brought up the Lombardis when it was here in Kansas City. So there was a lot of, it rubbed a lot of people, the wrong direction. That's what Pittsburgh did. Pittsburgh just totally rubbed your nose at everything. Well, that's what you should do when you have the draft.
I was going to have a bone to pick.
Everybody's going to do that. The bravado, that's coming out of every city that has it. So I don't blame them for doing it.
I think we've just turned it into that. If you're a player in the opposing city, you try to take your little shots while you have the entire stage.
Oh, it's becoming an animal.
Fun.
Most attended draft in history, over 800,000. I do believe those numbers because they look at the amount of space they have and they look at the amount of people and they have figures.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell. It was a lot of people. I don't know, 800,000.
Well,
it seems a little bit much, but
they grade the amount of people at parades.
Yeah,
which that's either that's hit or miss.
I will say it's now gone too far the other direction. Roger Goodell is not charismatic enough to be a heel. Like when he stands up, he's like, "Yeah." Boomy.
Oh, yeah.
His energy's on it.
Goodell.
His energy's on it bad.
He became
I'm not
likable
against-
somehow.
Yeah, I just I think I don't want to boo him anymore because he's trying to pretend like he likes it and the energy's kind of weird. I just don't like it.
Hey, man, he's created an animal. I mean, everybody else did. It's been an NFL commissioner. Roselle was good and stuff, but nobody hammered home in their league like he
There
has.
was somebody who announced the pick. It might have been somebody doing the Ravens pick that wasn't Mark Ingram or I don't know who it was, but they said, well, the commissioner last time didn't let me say this, so I'm going to say it now, or something like that. Like he threw shade at Roger Goodell.
It was the Texan. It was the tight end.
Oh, was it? Because somebody was he was like the commissioner pulled me off the stage or something like that before I could say this. Like he just threw shade at Roger Goodell while he was standing on the stage.
He won't be invited back.
Probably not.
Well, you can't take a shot at the boss? No good?
Oh, it's not his boss. Yeah, I don't think he. But I don't
sure
think he'll
Roger
get
has
another
some
invite.
kind of decision making in that.
Yeah, on who's able to announce the picks.
I would think there's probably some of that. Is there any other defensive lineman by the way besides Cam Jordan you'd want?
Oh, as far as free agency wise?
Yeah.
Well, last year traded line, a big Calais Campbell guy, but that was just
I told Alex I'd do that for 40 for 1 year.
Close to 40. 1 year. Can he give you something, that veteran in the room? Because it's going to be a rotational piece, whoever it is. That was the one guy at the trade deadline that was like, okay, just the rest of the season. But that's when the Chiefs still had a shot, but clearly that changed. But Jordan would be the one.
Is this Jay Binkley?
What did you make of that last week when we called into Hotline Bink and Cody? He didn't laugh. I'll give him credit for it. But
I kept a straight face till the end.
The voice. I mean,
is this Jay Binkley? I deserve some
What?
credit for that.
Yeah, Cody, that was.
When did you know it was Cody?
When you called in from an Odyssey number.
It said it showed up as Odyssey.
I told you guys. I told you guys that.
I
told you guys that.
Goodness.
But then I was like, oh yeah, this is Cody.
But his
How
voice.
quickly into it did you know it was me after you knew someone
Immediately. Just to be honest with you.
I mean,
is this Jay Binkley? I didn't disguise my voice.
Cody, I mean, how can I not tell him?
He decided to go with the hype. You should have gone with the deeper voice.
You
That
practiced.
just is like a class. Everybody goes deeper voice if they're doing a fake voice.
I appreciated you guys calling me because it sparked the phone line. I mean, the phone lines went nuts as soon as you guys called.
Nice.
So,
See?
and legitimate. They were
What was
legitimate.
What was the best call you got?
Mac.
And
Matt Morey actually
yeah,
called
that's
in
right.
a
Yeah, you
legitimate question about Jordan Tyson.
Oh, a legitimate question, though?
Mac wanted to talk draft. Like, it wasn't like a spoof or anything like that.
Okay.
You're just calling to be a part.
No, I had a caller that called in with a 7-rounder, and he wanted to hear the selections and listen to the whole thing. And then he called in the next day because he still had one more thing to say. And he said, I'm just glad I caught you while you're still there. And he called right there at the end because he still had something to say from the day before. So that caller was probably that, or Mac was the best.
Wow, Mac Morey getting some real credit.
He wanted to talk draft.
One of the best callers.
A lot of people, the spoofs weren't there. I mean, I thought it was going to be, somebody called in about boobs and stuff like that. Like, and what beer would you draft and stuff like that. I did have that call.
I have been waiting to talk draft all day with you.
But I think that was Maloney.
There's like an accent.
I think that was Maloney.
Boobs are so magical.
Yeah, they are.
Boobs are great.
Cody,
you look at a lot of boobs and stuff.
You practiced the Irish accent the day before, and I thought it was so good.
But I told you I wasn't going to do. Like, I think Binkley would recognize if it was me. Why is an Irish guy calling him? I couldn't know. I couldn't figure out.
But Bink wouldn't know who it was, though.
Like, Binkley, if I had just been like I was calling from Ireland, well, you'd have been like, what the hell's he calling from Ireland?
If you would have broken it down to a draft song, it's like, oh.
Yeah, no. I just, like, it is my best accent, Drew. It might be the only accent.
Bob called in with his British lady voice.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
how's his British lady voice?
Fine. He's been doing that for a long time.
Okay.
The British.
Remember, it's here. I don't know if I have just the intro for them.
The British voice, yeah.
We're talking to the British lady who's live in London for the core.
No, that's not it.
I
don't know where it is.
No, that was it. Because then he jumps in the British lady.
Hello.
That's her. He was calling
that
them
doesn't
that
sound
voice.
like Bob. Yeah.
Hello.
I mean, if you know Bob, it sounds like Bob. Maybe it's not.
Hello.
Binkley, would you recognize me more if I had called in and said, top of the morning to you, Bink. Just wanted to talk a little NFL draft today.
It might have thrown me for a
Very
loop.
interested in.
But then I was like,
Bob's
where do you
Order,
work in Odyssey?
Oh, I'm sorry. We can't.
You in sales?
Oh man,
New salesperson.
Up next, we'll continue to talk a little draft about the Chiefs. I do want to talk some Royals with Bink. We'll also run by our Friday night bar story from Pittsburgh and see if Bink agrees with what happened next.
This is Cody and Gold. on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more. Getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day during the playoffs. We're talking special drops you don't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. And the best part, it's every single day. So head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. Here's how I'm handling the daily happy hour. I open the app, see what's available, and suss out. Maybe it's a profit boost on a player point total. Maybe it's a bonus bet, and I'll take a big swing and try to make some mega money and keep that bonus bet in my back pocket. So whether you're betting the early game or gearing up for prime time, make sure you open the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. So go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel is an official partner of the NBA and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Robside Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Robside Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Rob Side Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Rob Side Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business? Ah.
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more. So you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Breaking news for your home. Wayday is here. It's Wayfair's big sale, where you can score the best deals in home, like up to 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Wayday long. You won't find better deals for your home anywhere else. We're talking furniture, decor, rugs, and more, all at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Wayday. So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Wayday now through April 27th to score the best deals in home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you, Jay Binkley in studio. We'll get into this crazy college football story today involving the Texas Tech quarterback who has checked himself into a gambling addiction treatment facility. And obviously that part of it is very, very serious. There's also massive implications for the sport, though, because the NCAA is investigating it. Will he ever play football again? A lot to get into with Bink in a second. I do want to briefly, before we get into Friday night in Pittsburgh, we haven't talked about running backs. They draft Emmett Johnson. We know Ken Walker was the big free agent acquisition. What do you think the Emmett Johnson pick there means? Is it he's a pass-catching back? He's going to be a third down back for them? Is there a bigger role? DeMarcado's in the room as well. Brashard Smith was a 7th-round pick last year. They barely played him. I mean, is he making this team?
Yeah, and DeMarcado can definitely get after it, too. But so we're 7 yards a carry. I do like DeMarcado. He's got that good size, too, for running back. Weight-wise, not height-wise, but height's fine for running back. But the Kareem Hunt, remember all the people talking about Kareem Hunt because he was so good? He was basically the same success rate as the tush push. He was that good.
Yeah.
That dream is no longer there. It's a crowded running back room. But, yes, I can see Emmett being what they wanted Clyde to be, a guy that can catch the ball in the backfield to run. Emmett, he led college football in yards after contact. He went forward, except for like 8% of the times, but he kept going forward. That was the thing with him. He finds a way to fall forward. That's a huge thing for the Chiefs. But, yeah, it's a situation where they can either, trade. Obviously, running backs get hurt all the time. He's grabbing somebody.
Sure.
Is somebody going to be inactive on game day? 100% they are. What's it mean for Brashard? I think Chris and I were talking. Brashard was a 3-year wide receiver at Miami. Rhett Lashley, when we went to SMU, put him at running back. He had his chance to run the ball last year. It was like 3.7 yards per carry. He did end up with 25 catches last year. He looked better catching the football than he did running. He just did. And I know it's bubble screens and a lot of things that
near the line of scrimmage. Yeah.
But the bottom line is, you think of, I'm counting Jalen Rolls as a lock, but and he has done. It's not like he
had to try it as wide receiver. Nope. And look, he can still beat out DeMarcado. Let's not get all caught up in that. The man's career high is 400 yards. Now, certainly, that's higher than Brashard Smith's career high. but it's not like he's ever been healthy or regular.
But he's a to the house guy, man. I mean,
I know
he's got special.
He averaged
talent.
like 8 yards a carry, didn't he, last year?
7.1, I think it was.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's the guy that dropped the ball at the half-yard line.
He dropped at the goal line, yeah.
But it's like the truth is,
and Gannon got in his face. Remember?
Yeah.
Bink, I expect Emmett Johnson to be running back too at some point this year.
You know what's funny is they bring Jaden Ott, who started the Senior Bowl.
Much better at Cal than he was Oklahoma.
He was one of the stars of the Senior Bowl. He actually led the Pac-12 in rushing when it was still a conference, when Oregon and everybody was in it.
Yeah.
He had over 1,300 yards rushing. When he was at Cal, he did this 1 year before Mendoza ended up at Cal because they were there too. They had a host of guys transfer out of Cal, but he was there. He goes to Oklahoma, obviously finds himself way in the back. He only had, 60 yards rushing in Oklahoma. The interesting thing is DeMarco Murray was there, and now he's with the Chiefs, so he ends up with Kansas City. Not saying he's going to be part of the equation. He'll be a practice squad guy or
show some tape for other team, probably.
Exactly. Yeah. But their running back room is absolutely loaded now, which is a good thing.
Good. They need to focus in on that position.
They have nailed that one.
The rest of the league was a year or two ahead of the Chiefs in terms of valuing the running back room more. And the Chiefs have corrected that, most notably with Kenneth Walker. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm kind of excited to see what the running back room can be.
Oh, St. Joe's going to be fun.
It's always more fun on offense there than
there's a lot of things
time
to watch up in St. Joe.
Yeah,
there are.
I'll give you that. But I'm just worried, I'm not going to fall into, and I didn't last year, I'm not going to fall into the trap this offense is trying to lure me into me. No, by week 7, I'll trust what your offense is. I don't care how many.
Talking off air.
Emmett Johnson's got a real chance.
We will do Camp Darling when we get to St. Joe officially.
But I think the I-beam?
Caldwell is going to be a Camp Darling because he's Spider-Man. I think you're going to have plenty of people say Emmett Johnson, a lot of Nebraska fans in the area.
Nussmeier?
Nussmeier can't really be a Camp Darling.
No?
Nussmeier's interesting because
not a Camp Darling.
Nussmeier's interesting because it's actually a draft pick you hope you never see. Usually you want to see the draft
reps this offseason.
But I hope I don't see another backup. I hope I see Nussmeier for 3 years sitting on the bench.
But I've always felt this way with quarterbacks. It's not their job to develop somebody else's eventual quarterback.
I do think
it's the Shane Buechele treatment.
There's multiple candidates for Camp Darling. Well, our Mason Thomas will be potentially, because of his athleticism, fans are going to love that because he's going to look good in camp. The question is what happens when the pads are on against some bigger size on the offensive line. But I do think any of the undrafted free agents people are going to like. That always happens.
Caldwell was 5'10", by the way, when he went to college. He went to 6'5". You grow that much, Cody? He went from 5'10" to 6'5" after high school.
No, I mean, that'd have been convenient for everybody.
5'10",
especially if you're an
6'5".
athlete. That would certainly make a difference. No, I don't think that my single biggest
Diego Pavia could use that
Spider-Man?
too.
Is that Spider-Man video
round and under 42 inches in diameter?
Is that Spider-Man video real?
I have no idea.
I heard it's not him.
I don't know if they're just trying to explain how much of an athletic freak he is.
He is that.
And so maybe that's just why the video circulated. It's not him. I don't know. Definitive. We'll find out.
I was talking to Chris about that. I don't know if it's real.
By the way, problem solved. All of his counseling over, I think, after missing day 3 of the NFL draft. Mike Vrabel back at work today with the team.
Fixed.
Yeah.
And he was on his phone.
He took a lot of time away from the team.
He was
family first and team second, he said.
He was on his phone
on Friday's
with
press
the Patriots.
conference. He's back at work on Monday.
He's fixed, man. I wanted Diana to tweet during the draft, though.
No.
She deleted her account.
She doesn't have an account anymore.
I know, but I wanted her to restart it.
If she doesn't restart it in 30 days, she loses all her followers. So my guess is it'll get reactivated here.
Is she still a Coach of the Year voter at that point?
She still is right now, which is wild to think about. Thinking of on a more serious note of the Cody, you brought up the treatment, air quotes, for Mike Vrabel. The stunning news today, Bink, that broke in the noon hour, having to do with Brendan Sorsby, the talented quarterback that goes from Cincy. He transfers, was one of the most sought-after guys in the portal, going to make $5 million this year for Texas Tech.
Probably the 8th or 9th best quarterback at next year's draft.
Some of the mocks. He's now taking a leave of absence from the football program for a gambling addiction. In the same report from Pete Thamel, it says the NCAA is investigating him because he allegedly was making small bets on Indiana football when he was the backup there 2+ years ago. There's also a report from On3 that says he attended Cincinnati Reds games on repeated occasions and placed live wagers on balls and strikes. The bets range anywhere from $2.50 to less than $1 per pitch. That's $2.50
supposedly
to less than $1 per
small bets.
So I don't think I was telling that Drew and I were talking like the difference of this versus the other. This is not the same as betting large amounts of money. Some guys asking him to influence the game. It sounds like a guy that maybe truly is addicted to gambling and is betting all the time, and needs some help. And if that's the case, props to him for going to treatment. I also think the other part here, though, Bink, is this becoming public knowledge in this way. Do you think this is also the hope that the NCAA will not ban him, or that an NFL team will say, "Hey, look, he sought treatment. He's able to go through that process and is in a much better spot." What do you make of all this? This is pretty stunning news today.
I sent it to Drew, but the official NCAA guideline on this from ESPN is according to amended NCAA guidelines that came out in 2023, student athletes who wager on their own games, which at Indiana is true, if it is true that he bet on Indiana, which looks like it could be possible that he did that, or on their own games or other sports at their own schools, face permanent loss of college eligibility in all sports. And the rule is you can't bet on anything. Other college athletics, you can't bet on the pros.
Because they don't want you at a very young age.
Like in the NFL, you can bet on college baseball, or you can bet on stuff besides the NFL. Like you can, but you have to do it out of the facility. You can't do it.
Like if you're a Major League Baseball player, you can bet on the NFL.
But the NCAA says you can't. But again, there's been a big problem with the NCAA enforcement because a lot of times they run out of power because all these teams are complaining about portal transfer, eligibility things, and the NCAA can't do anything about it.
Do you think this is, one, he's seeking help? And then does he try to go to the supplemental draft if there is one next year or later this offseason?
It could happen.
JUCO?
It's weird, though, man. He was going to get $5 million. I mean, those are the highest money.
And since he's suing him right now for $1 million.
Yeah. He was going to get $5 million from Texas Tech. I don't know what they paid him to this point. He might have to pay some of it. Think if they've already given him 1.5. That's going to come back.
Oh, they'll sue him as well.
Yeah. If he can't play there. And it's too late for the portal now.
The football implication, I mean, Texas Tech's the Big 12 favorite.
Yeah.
What does this do for the conference?
Did he bet on it before he... Just kidding.
No. But Will Hammond, they said he's recovering from a torn ACL.
That would be a good bet.
I went and looked up, by the way, that the Texas Tech backup quarterback, he's recovering from a torn ACL.
Oh, Hammond, yeah.
They expect him to be ready to go. He's already started
hopefully
throwing.
Ready by week
He's
one.
already started throwing, but
I mean, that's not exactly
he might be ready to
optimistic. I don't think Texas Tech can be considered the favorite in the Big 12 anymore.
Yeah, the fact
not unless some coach leaves in the next couple of days and they can go poach somebody's quarterback.
He might be able to talk his way out of it, but when at Indiana, when you're privy to all the injuries, you're privy to who you're playing, you're privy to a lot of information when you're on that team. I don't care if you're playing or not.
It's insider trading. Yeah.
You're privy to the information.
You know this though, Bink. If the NCAA says, you know what, he is eligible to play, do you know how big of a can of worms that opens?
Yeah,
do you know
what?
Completely
does.
That's true.
The NCAA cannot. If they allow him to play, the wheels are fully off. The train has crashed. Everything is. If it hasn't already, it is. The train has left the station. It is driven off the cliff.
Yes.
If they let Brendan Sorsby play, it is going to be a massive problem. I think he's done.
Because if he does, the guys are just going to be sitting back now in college football and just betting away.
He has to be done.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing at the D1 level
It
anymore.
sucks because I liked watching him play.
Maybe there's JUCO or supplemental draft. But huge news in the NFL. No doubt about that. Pretty stunning to see. And as you know, with all this, we're going to keep getting more. Like even in the last hour, we found out about the Cincinnati Reds games. I mean, so we're going to learn more as time goes on, I think, with this thing.
Was he going to be a first-round pick next year?
I don't think he was. Probably, like I said, the 8th quarterback coming out. Who knows at this point? It's quarterback
early
shuffle
mock
all
drafts
around.
are crazy. We looked one up this morning. He was going to go 8th, according to
We also had Drew
CBS.
Aller going 10th last year at the same time. So.
Yes.
We'll see. I mean, quarterbacks are weird, man, because people thought Arch Manning still this season even would have been.
He's
high
the betting
on
favorite to go number 1.
I will say the bar.
But that was even this year if Arch Manning went out.
We were at the bar in Pittsburgh, which we can tell you more about in a minute, but we were there when Drew Aller got picked by the Steelers. And the place went like a collective grumble filled the space as Drew Aller was selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Would they have gone crazy? Because I asked Alex that night because they draft Ian Ochor, the lineman. They were about to draft Lemon because that was the famous thing where they were on the phone with him. They might have gone more nuts for that. I mean, obviously you're going to go nuts for anybody, but drafting a lineman, I just
their fans wanted them to take the receiver.
Yeah, 100%.
No, that was a huge topic, obviously, in Pittsburgh when that was going on. Also in Pittsburgh, we were discussing it earlier on the show. Friday night after the Chiefs made their pick at 40, we left the draft. The Chiefs didn't have any more picks, and so we were able to hang out a little bit. Cody's got some cousins that live in Pittsburgh, and so she said, hey, let's meet you at this bar. We didn't know what the bar was, and his cousin's 22. So the crowd at the bar...
She took us to a young person's
It wasn't
bar.
a college bar, but it was definitely mid-20s. And, of course, Cody's in his 40s.
Man,
I'm in my
old
mid-30s. So for starters, when we walked in, I just felt very old, Bink.
Like
I felt
walking into
very
the bar,
old.
we could tell. We knew. We knew
Old
what
men walking in a bar. But it's a draft time. I'm sure there's a lot of people there.
Well, and obviously interesting stuff happened. There were people who sat with us for a little bit, who immediately left when my cousin and her friend showed up.
Did you feel like Belichick?
Who said, "See you later, Cody and Gold"?
Is she in her 20s?
Jordan or Jordan?
Yeah, Jordan. Yeah,
Jordan.
She's still a cheerleader on the side.
Was she? How old is she? I don't remember.
She's 26 or 27. Drew, do you know the answer to that?
And then
He's
Gold,
like in the 70s.
And then Gold
so
had,
I don't know.
Gold had a
bit of
woman
age difference.
cold approach him. Big. He had a across the bar. Her name was Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
We learned her.
Wasn't
name
even
on the
really.
show.
It was like
She walked over, sat down next to him,
Interesting.
said, "Are you single?"
Wow.
That's a pretty good opener.
And
you know what you should have said? Does it matter?
Well, I said no.
That's what you should have said.
I said.
Oh,
Or
you said yes.
I said yes. Sorry, I said
He
yes.
said, "Are you single?"
Doesn't
Yes, I'm
matter.
single.
Yeah, I
then
said
she
yes.
said, "Are you from Pittsburgh?" And Gold informed her he is not, and then she left.
She walked. Bink, it was 60-second interaction.
What did she expect? The draft's in town, man. No one's from there.
I was just more stunned that out of nowhere, we hadn't made eye contact. She came over and wanted to know my name and if I was single, and clearly wanted to know if I lived there. And the minute I said I don't, she got up and said, "Okay, have a good night." And she went back to her friend group, and then they all left the bar.
That's crazy. That's wrong.
Were they getting ready to leave and
Dusty
wanted to
said I
have
should
you
have
tag
said
along?
Dusty said I should have said yes, and then if she would have said I lied, I would have said, "Oh, I'm from Pittsburgh, Kansas. Sorry, my apologies."
Yeah, true. That would have been funny, actually.
That's a pretty dangerous way to set that situation up.
But she went right for, "Are you
but if they-
single?" I mean, that was.
She was very attractive.
Yeah.
Is she?
What?
Well, you might have just said.
She
well,
was clearly single. Yes, I didn't ask her. In fairness, back. But
How do you know she was single?
I didn't ask her. What? I didn't need to ask her back
Somebody
if she was
suggested
single.
maybe
You
she
didn't
was
care.
asking for a friend.
Ask her
And
where
that
she's
wasn't
from.
the vibe, though.
Well,
Ask her where she's from.
she's clearly from Pittsburgh.
I will say the way
Maybe
she said,
suburb or something, or maybe she.
I should have said I'm from. I just moved here. Cody was saying I should have said I just moved here. But then she would have been said, "Oh, where are you? Where did you move to?" And then I would have got in trouble because I don't know the townships in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Just say Philly.
it's fine, you just moved there. Why
say
would you
Philly.
know all those things?
Say Philly.
That's true.
You know?
Say
Just
Philly.
say Philly.
Just say Philly.
I don't have an East Coast accent. I don't think.
No, he's got to say, "I just moved here from Kansas City," and then hope from there. But
Someone
also
says I
maybe
should have
just
done the.
lie.
No, I'm not from here. I'd love for you to show me around. I think she
I don't
was
think there's
leaving.
any answer Gold gives.
She
gets
was
no.
she was
there.
leaving the entire time. If I would have said I've lived in Pittsburgh my whole life, then maybe we would have gone somewhere.
Wow, that's insane.
I
And she
can't
was
believe-
hot too.
I can't
Text
believe
line thinks
how
Bink
quick-
you would have been a Pittsburgh 7 or 7.5.
Oh, I would have just like pulled up those pictures from Twitter and said, "Yeah, look at me, I'm all over the place."
Well, that first set of women who were sitting at the table with us, we were waiting on my cousin and her friend to show up, and so Gold and I were occupying a rather large table, and so they were like, "Can we sit here for a while?" We're like, "Yeah, it's fine." And so
They were all very nice, but
they were questioning. They were asking, "What do you guys do?" And Alex was like, "Oh, we work in radio."
because we said we were there for the draft.
And then they were asking if we'd met Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce. And we're like, "Yes, we've met Travis Kelce." And then
they thought we were lying, so I said, "No, here's a photo." And then next thing you know, they're looking at our Twitter profile, and somehow after Cody's cousin sat down, they decided to leave. Your cousin basically killed the.
Well, I
killed
didn't
it.
know she was going to
Killed
kill
it.
the vibe for you.
And
I don't know why two other people sitting down at the table who
I don't know.
and you would,
All I
and
know
they
is
knew
we
you were single.
We
so
were
like, I don't
having
see
a
what the
good
problem was.
conversation, and then your cousin sat down, and then they left within 2 minutes.
They said, "See you later, Cody and Gold," or whatever. Nice to meet you, Cody and Gold. Is that
They
what
said, "Yeah, nice to meet you, Cody and Gold," because they looked up our show name. And
Oh yeah,
you guys
they
had
were,
a couple things going against you.
I will say they started digging into the internet fast.
That's
they
probably
asked to
a good
look at
decision
Alex's.
that you left.
They asked to look at Alex's social media.
That's probably a good decision you
They
guys made. They
had
were
already
very
found.
inquisitive.
They'd already
Yeah.
found the show page.
Yeah,
that's
very
too
quick.
much. That's just weird.
Very quickly.
That's a little weird.
Do you think they listened today? Do you think
No
they tuned in
chance.
for a few
No
minutes to find out?
chance. No chance. Absolutely not.
What were? Do you remember any of their names?
Nope.
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 Any off chance.
I don't remember Vanessa's name. Vanessa.
Did you leave and go to an older bar?
No.
No, we stayed
there
that one
the whole
until
night.
we called it a night.
Did you feel old and creepy though, or just
No.
Okay.
No, by the time like my cousin was there and we were all hanging out, we'd already established that we had been.
And they
there.
had the
It was
NBA
fine.
game on, and I was wearing
Tough
my
place to get a
I
drink.
had my KC Royal shirt on, and people were asking about Kansas City. We had a good time.
Alex and I's mistake was we had started a tab at the bar, but you could just order from your table. But I didn't want to open a new tab.
Yeah.
And so like we had to go to the bar every time we wanted a drink, which was creating a real slowdown effect. It was packed. It was a good spot. Just
Were you
for
rocking
people
the new
younger than
City
us.
Connects?
No, I was just wearing
Will?
I was just wearing a polo that had KC, the letter KC.
Boy, they're rocking in those things. What, 5-11?
5-1. They're good. They're good.
Why do they wear them the whole weekend though? That's
because
a Friday
they keep
thing.
winning. It's because they keep winning.
That's a Friday.
You know how
thing.
baseball players are. Yeah,
I know. Powder blues go Saturday. That's what they wear on Saturday.
I agree, but if they keep if let's say they win 10 in a row, they'll wear it for the 11th game. You know what I mean? They'll wear those all year if it means they keep winning.
Pull them out in Sacramento then and just say
they
honestly don't take them off until you lose.
I bet you they wear them.
They play tomorrow night.
Yeah, they're off tonight because Bink and Chris are hosting Character Concerns tonight.
Very good timing for you guys in the draft this year.
The Royals have been very accommodating.
You don't ever get this kind of luck. You've been burned by a couple of rain delays.
Which we could have if they.
What do you guys have coming up on the show tonight?
Which we would have been.
You talking 2027 draft tonight?
Probably a little bit.
Probably a little bit.
Oh no!
But R. Mason Thomas is position coach at Oklahoma. Was there for 4 years with R. Mason Thomas. So we'll talk about what he did at Oklahoma and just what he saw when he first got in there and how he developed, how he sees that translating to the next level in what he does. So a lot more R. Mason Thomas talk tonight because we didn't spend a ton of time on him yesterday because we knew that's coming up tonight. So a lot of R. Mason Thomas.
What was your favorite pick for?
And we couldn't get Brian Kelly.
What was your
really? You don't think?
For
his family, he's busy with his family.
I could talk to all my family.
Where's he coaching now? That's what his accent will be. Can't be LSU anymore.
I don't think Brian Kelly is.
He's probably back in
here
Connecticut.
with my family.
My family.
I'm here with my family.
All-time clip. What's your favorite pick the Chiefs made based on when they took it as well? As in,
last year was
pick to
Noel.
value. Last pick was Noel Williams.
Last year was
Noel
Noel.
Williams was good.
I do like Noel Kennedy probably because that was the guy that we had. It was on our mock at the last couple of times. It was on our final one, but Kennedy, we really like him. And to be honest with you,
safety or corner,
huh?
Slot or outside,
anywhere.
Okay,
Honey Badger light type guy. I mean, can play all over the field. And one thing too is they've trusted Dan Lanning's advice. Keep in mind, Dan Lanning's is pedigrees in defense. He was the Georgia defensive coordinator with Rick when they were really good. So that's his pedigree. Of course, from Kansas City. Big Chiefs fan. I've been saying, when Andy ever retires, will they call Dan Lanning? I would put Dan Lanning on that list for the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, I'm just saying, don't sleep on Dan
you
Lanning.
might be right. I mean, he's obviously a hell of a coach. I don't know if I want a college coach when Mahomes is in his 30s.
But I guarantee you they don't draft him unless Dan's talking to him about Canada.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all. I'm sure they got great insight from.
And same with Baza.
Yeah, by the way, tomorrow we're going to talk more about Bossa. The fact they did not draft a linebacker, it's full steam ahead for Bossa now. I understand Bolton and Tranquil are
he's
still
right in
here,
Leo's role.
But yep.
Yeah, Leo's that's a